Yeah, no, hold on. I'm doing it. Hold on. I'm doing it. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. Oh no.
Oh no!
The fucking sound from the stream started doing a feedback loop. I got it.
Oh, fun. Fun times.
Everything is fine. Anyway, hi everybody, and welcome to Shapes and Forms. I'm Planet Jane. That's right.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to remember what the exact line is from that really old LRR sketch where it's like, I am Lars something something, and everything is fine.
Yeah.
You know,
everything's good, cool, and normal here.
You know, and it's just like, you're Lars? How could you? You son of a bitch!
How dare you be Lars? Anyway, so like, we're doing Spelunky today. Possibly just Spelunky, because like, your girl's wrists have not been feeling great lately.
Aww.
But if I'm feeling up to GeoGuessr, we'll do a little bit of that at the end.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody's even here yet. I forgot to share the links before I.
Trey's
Trey's
here.
in the chat. I forgot to share the links before we started because I'm the smartest person on earth, but I shared them just now.
So I heard you have good news.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite production from Disney of Japan, by which I mean, I think the only thing they've ever independently produced, Fireball, is getting a new season.
Holy shit! Really? That thing you keep talking about?
Yeah, and it premieres in 9 days. Sorry, 9 days.
That is mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's one of those anime, like, it's sort of like how, like, I occasionally will mention like some fucking anime title that I'm like, I'm the only person who ever fucking talks about this. I'm pretty fucking sure. And it's like, and that one is yours.
Fireball, yeah. There was like a circle of people who liked Fireball, like once upon a time, and for some reason, like every 4 years or so, they make another season. This one is apparently going to be the last one, though. So
okay,
I'm hoping they conclude the saga in a thrilling way.
Question mark?
Like, I don't.
A thrilling question mark way? Question mark?
Question mark. But like, I don't know. It's not a thing I expected to happen this year, or indeed any year.
So, like, actual positive things that have happened in the world. Bolivian election, Chilean constitution rewrite, victories for LGBT rights in Russia, of all places, and Fireball got renewed.
All equally important.
I mean, yeah, Fireball getting renewed is a sign of impending world peace, don't you know?
Oh, I hope so. Well, what if that's the case? What does it say that it's the last season?
I mean,
does that mean that they're giving up, or that we won't need anymore?
No, we won't need anymore because it'll be the finale, because the finale will bring about world peace.
God, if there's any anime that can do it. The new one's not even called Fireball. Like, I got the notification on Analyst, and it was like, you know, such and such has been added to the site, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I mean,
and I went to look.
Struggle continues.
Hello, Trey.
Yeah, the saga continues. Also, like, I do want to say that Yoshitoshi Abe and Chiaki Kanaka have gone on record this year that Despera is still not canceled.
That, like, if fucking Despera ever sees the light of day,
that will bring about world peace.
It would bring about world peace for me. I don't think most people even know what Despera is anymore.
Okay, people who are really into like Lane and Haibane Renmei know what Despera
I
is.
suppose so.
I guess, like,
TV is free, but at what cost? We have GPS, and yet we're still lost. Is this a Fish lyric?
I think that, like, people who stan Yoshitoshi Abe and or Chiaki Kanaka know what Despera is, and that's, like...
Yeah, but that's not very many people.
And also, like, deep animation nerds, you know what I mean? Like, people who actually, like, follow production in anime. Which is, admittedly, like, it's not a completely insubstantial portion of the population, but it's still, like, fucking... It's, you know, like, it's people who contribute to Sakuga Boru.
People who correct contributions to Sakuga Boru would be my...
Okay, yeah, true.
Which is... Watch Ergo Proxy, it's on the list.
Oh yeah, and also people who say things like watch Ergo Proxy. I do not mean that as a dig. I say that with affection.
It was pitched to me years ago as Lane, but everybody has guns, and that's, like, a pretty good...
Yeah, or alternately, it's like, what... Well, I mean, the alternate thing is, what if Technolize, but slightly happy?
Just a little bit.
Just
yeah,
a
like,
little bit.
Because Technolize is, like, legit one of the darkest anime series I've ever seen.
The Radiohead anime? Oh, right.
Oh yeah, it has Paranoid Android as its closing game.
Right.
Whereas Technolize ends with a Gact song. Which is one of the only anime themes he's done interesting.
Does that mean that Death Note can be the Red Hot Chili Peppers anime?
Did they do
what?
of the themes for Death Note?
They didn't do one of the themes for Death Note the show, but Death Note the movie, both of the live action films have Danny California as their theme song.
God, what are
really?
those movies? Like, I've never seen them. Because, like, to be honest, I don't really care about Death Note that much.
With their really bad CG.
But
that was actually my introduction to the franchise. I watched those before I watched the show.
Wow, really? The Japanese live-action ones?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That is some nerd cred right there.
I thought you were referring to the weird, Netflix.
No, not the Netflix one. Not the
one
Netflix one.
that Adam Wingard did. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
With Lakeith Stanfield as L.
Which, I mean, you know what? I've actually heard from a couple of different people that was actually not nearly as bad as people act like it is.
Like
It's a choice.
The impression
of
the live action movies I've gotten is that they're less bad and more just kind of inexplicable.
Yeah, it's like they are. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing is that my mom, who has not seen the original anime or read the manga, well, I mean, not obviously, because my mom's an odd person, actually really liked the live-action films.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, I guess that's the audience, like, people who
either don't know Death Note or are willing to appreciate wild liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Gakt has done some stuff for...
So get hype.
Yeah. I am indeed hype. But yeah, like, Gakt has done some stuff for, like, live-action TV, but relatively little anime stuff, although he has done some stuff as a voice actor. Specifically, he's, like, the main... seems like an antagonist, but he's not actually in Shiki.
Riverdale Season 5 on January 20th, so we have two things to look forward to on that day.
Oh my.
What's the other? Oh, right. I've been putting it out of my mind, okay? I'm going to vote in person because I don't entirely trust that they're not going to try to fuck with the mail-in results around here. So I'm just like, I'm dedicating that day to voting because I know it's gonna be packed.
So
Which
before
day?
What?
Which day are you
Tuesday.
talking about?
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So before the show started, I was actually taking a quiz on the New York Times' website where they took people's fridges, they took pictures of people's fridges, and determined whether or not like they were Trump voters or Biden voters.
Oh, I heard
fuck
about
this
this.
terrible thing.
So
Like hearing about this.
you end up guessing whether or not which one is which.
Was it meant? Okay, here I have to ask a question. Did they do the interesting thing, which was talk about like make a commentary on classism, or did they just do a classism?
I'm not like 100% because like I didn't read everything of the article, although they did interview Justin McElroy for it, so clearly the tone wasn't meant to be like super serious or anything.
I get that it was a goof, but like at the same time commenting on like sorry, Jim.
No, I just said
Okay, but I'm saying like commenting on, for example, like the stereotypes that different groups of people have about each other that are often rooted in weird, bad class stuff that makes, like, bad assumptions about what people's politics actually are would be interesting, because, like, that's, like, actually talking about that.
I mean, it's the New York Times, so I sort of doubt that they did that. Well, okay, in previous years, maybe they would have done that. But the modern I
New
think,
York Times...
I think, like, and I don't say this as a dig at the man, I like Justin McElroy's work a lot. I think just the presence of Justin McElroy as a correspondent in the article, it immediately gives away that they did not, like, they were just like, you know, haha, funny goof. Which is not, like, his fault, but, like...
Yeah, but it is kind of problematic.
Just, like, you know...
Just a little. You know? And, like, yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those things where, like, there's bigger things to care about, but it's like... Why?
Yeah.
Why does this exist? Like, you know...
Like, yeah...
Like, you look at it from the weirdness factor of it all. Like, is this something that we would have cared about in any other cycle? Or is it just specifically this one?
So full disclosure, I plan on voting for Biden, and barring some kind of unexpected physical obstacle, that is what I will do. But I think that stuff like this is what happens when you get a candidate who has, like, really, really milquetoast policies, and...
Milquetoast policies, and, like...
Just, like, also very little personality.
Yeah, like... he doesn't have, like... The thing is, he's not devoid of charisma, but he's very low on it. The thing was... The problem is... Like, back when he was vice president, he still had, like, some, you know, like, fire, but, like, the guy is... The man... It's not just that he's 76, 77 years old, it's that he, unlike, say, Bernie Sanders, who is a frightening, unstoppable dynamo, he comes off like it.
Which is the McElroy people say I look like? You don't really look like any of them, in my opinion. I guess, like, kinda Griffin if you squint, but...
But, like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's like, at least with Kamala Harris, you can kind of, like, go... Like, this isn't a positive, but at least the cop jokes have some substance in terms of, like, snark.
Like, this is one of those things where, like, I didn't think I'd be saying this in 2016, and hopefully I'm not saying this again in 2024 with, like, different context, but this is probably the least, like, the least enthusiasm I've ever had about voting for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, at least like, Hillary Clinton seemed like she wanted to win.
Okay, I will give some credit to Kamala Harris. As when she cross-examines people in the Senate, she actually can be extremely trenchant. Like, the woman is a solid orator and is really good at cross-examining. Like, she's a lawyer. She's good at it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like, we don't do politics on Shapes and Forms generally for this exact reason, because, like,
yeah.
I'm glad we managed to talk about Biden without doing an ageism. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and I wasn't. I
don't think his age is why he's not going.
No, and also,
to be a great president.
I mean, I feel a little bad for even like bringing it up with respect to like Sanders, who's actually older. It was just more like a comment on that. He sometimes just seems kind of tired. Like this is like this.
I almost
wants
wonder,
the office, but he doesn't want to do this. You know
like,
what I mean?
I almost wonder to what extent he does want the office. Like, I think it might be more.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, not to psychoanalyze a man, I don't know, but I think it might be more like he doesn't want a second Trump term. Understandable.
That's fair. Although there is a certain amount
he's like, you know, well, people will vote for me because I was the vice president. Like,
that's true.
I really think, like, I'm sure, at least in his own mind, he's thought it out more than that, but I really think that's the root of it.
Yeah, it's like...
And to be fair, I think a lot of people are also guilty of assigning, like, a malice to the man that he does not have. I really just think, like, I know enough people in his demographic that I'm just like, I think he genuinely thinks that he is, you know, what is standing between America and a second Trump term, and maybe he is. Like, I don't know. I'm not a political analyst.
I feel that's like what's exasperating with him is like mainly that he's like is that he had like such is like that vibe of like a lack of confidence with respect to like Sanders and Warren, who I think were in some ways just as viable and honestly were more willing to, but at the same time I think there's also that sort of thing is that he thinks that their policies perhaps wouldn't be able to get through.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
like the thing is, I think that
like I get it.
I think Biden would have been a great candidate, and I think he actually ran like back in the 80s, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He would have been a great candidate in like in like the Carter era, like
Carter was like actually further to
well,
left.
yeah, no, I don't know. Like
more
there have been times in American political history where a compromise candidate is not a terrible idea. I don't think we're in one of those.
Like I think he would have done pretty well against like Reagan for sure, and would have been way less disastrous.
Who even ran against Reagan? I don't actually know.
Shit. Well, I mean, in terms of independence, there was John Anderson, who was a former Republican.
Who ran against Reagan and had a chance of actually winning?
No, John Anderson got like a third of the vote. That's wild.
Really?
Like, he was one of the most successful independents in history. The other guy was it Dukakis? Yeah, Dukakis. Who was like really mediocre. I mean, he was a nice guy, and he was actually pretty like center lefty, but he was like it's just a bowl of lukewarm oatmeal.
And then didn't the Willie Horton thing happen with Dukakis? Like, wasn't that how Bush and Reagan managed to beat him?
That was with George H.W. Bush. Oh, that was that was Dukakis and it was H.W. Bush. No, it might have been. Was it Mondale? Yeah, Mondale, who was like very centrist, very boring, nice enough guy, but like.
Yeah, to be like the weird thing is like I feel like that's kind of where Biden is running on, and
But he's against a fascist, which is different.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I hope that's enough to carry him to victory. I don't really like Biden, but he'd be incomparably better than what we've got now.
Yeah,
and I think that anybody who doesn't think that is like being kind of silly.
And also, like, and on top of that, as a vice presidential nominee, like, I don't particularly like Kamala Harris, and I don't, and her fans are way worse. Like, she had like the worst supporter base of any of the Democratic candidates aside from like Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard's base were like neocons and tankies.
Hey, I'm gonna turn you into soup.
Glenn Greenwald got fired from The Intercept.
I read that post, and I'm like, I had this extremely, like this real brain moment where I was like, I read that post and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know who Glenn Greenwald is. I just know that he's an asshole.
He's the guy who guy who was like
Snowden.
He's the guy who broke the Snowden story.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's like literally what he's been subsisting off of as a reporter ever since.
I mean, to be fair.
Despite the fact that he, is like kind of borderline Nazbol. TBH. Like gay Nazbol at that, which is weirder.
Have you ever considered
Ernst Röhm? Yes. Like actually gay Nazbol. Like OG gay Nazbol. But well, oh fuck, you got killed.
Oh god.
Spoopy.
Just like give me some heads up ahead of time. We need to like set aside time for those summaries.
Okay, I'm calling him a Nazbol, but like explaining Glenn Greenwald's politics is basically impossible. Like Sorrow is actually kind of right. It's weird. But anyway, so like, getting away from Glenn Greenwald for a moment. Yeah, like he got fired from The Intercept, and like the thing is, The Intercept aren't that bad. It's just that Glenn Greenwald is terrible, and it's like,
wasn't that literally his own paper, like his own site,
and his own, and the editor-in-chief fucking said his work recently was not up to standard, and he threw a hissy fit, and they were like, nope, you're gone now. We're done with you. In the most polite way possible.
I don't know, I read that note. I wouldn't really call it polite.
Well, I'm saying it's the most polite way to say get fucked, lol.
Yeah,
I've ever seen.
There's no swearing in it.
Yeah, he doesn't she doesn't outright say get fucked, lol, but that is the subtext, 110%. Like,
let's do a deep reading on the Glenn Greenwald firing notice.
Anyway, but like, so
do you guys remember when that was like a trend on Tumblr? People would be like, "Let's do a deep reading of blah blah blah." Like they would say that as a joke.
A deep reading of, oh my god, let's do a deep reading of this erotic Sonic fanfic.
I mean, yeah, that was the joke. You've independently reinvented it.
I know, but that's what I kind of semi-remember this, but I didn't know it was like a meme.
I think it started, like, I have this vague memory that it started as being, like, a way to make fun of the fucking super gulag people, to give you an idea of how long ago this was.
Oh.
But it eventually...
Oh, man.
Evolved into just, let's do a deep reading of everything. What if Greenwald had a Sonic OC?
You mean like the people who invented the original Omegaverse? Oh no!
I don't know what that.
I'm not going to even talk about that one. That's a whole.
All right.
That's a whole kettle of worms.
Wow, it must be really bad if you won't talk about it.
It's not that it's super bad. It's just super weird and.
I'm not going to talk about Ken Penders. Get the fuck out of here.
Thanks, Ken Penders.
Thanks, Obama.
You can get Ken Benders. Well, this is bad.
Yep, it definitely is. So, like, no, oh god, what was I gonna say? What I was gonna say about, like, oh god, what was I gonna say about Biden?
I think we can get off the Biden train now. I think we've been insufferably political for like 20 minutes.
What was about earlier was like, yeah, for all that, like I was just digressing, was like that it is very, like, two things I was going to say was it is very easier to have a marginally better fan base in terms of, like, Democratic nominees than Tulsi Gabbard, because her fans were all tankies and neocons. And like vaguely fash people. And then
where am I? Like, I can't feel my body.
Like,
okay, thank you for that.
And it was very hard. And it was very hard to tell the difference, but it's like, and somehow Kamala Harris's people were, like, only marginally better than that, and that was horrifying. But I am gonna say, of all, like, the sort of quote-unquote centrist-y candidates he could have gone with, she was one of the least bad by a large margin. And
a large margin.
And she did originally support the original Medicare for All bill, and, like, has some very progressive policies despite having compromised on too many things for my personal taste. But, like, you know what? She's still anti-fracking. She still has, like, isn't budging on a lot of stuff.
God, it's so sad that's, like, a marginal position in what is allegedly our left-leaning party.
It's not even a marginal position, it's just that Joe Biden refuses to take it because of fucking...
Well, I don't know how... To be honest, I don't know how things look with regard to that on a national scale nowadays. I just remember when I lived in PA, it was like... Fracking, damages the environment to a... incalculable extent, but it also makes specifically 3 companies a lot of money, so it's impossible to say if it's bad or not.
Yeah, and then of course screws a lot of rural poor.
Yeah.
And
there was a guy in Carbon County like 3-4 years ago who got arrested for graffitiing ban fracking over every billboard up a stretch of highway.
Go him! Civil disobedience, motherfuckers!
I don't know whatever became of that story. I hope he didn't, like, get fucking put in prison. I don't think you can get jail time for that in Carbon County, but I don't actually know.
I don't think you can, but, like, yeah, just, like, man after my own heart.
Who?
Anyway, I really have to use the bathroom. I'll be back in a sec.
Dolph.
Anyway, yeah, Trey, I agree with you. It is very funny that Tony Hawk's son is, 101 gex.
101 gex. That would be him and Fraxium, who
Yeah.
they do stuff together. Their album came out today.
What is the name of their duo, or does it not have?
Food House.
Food House.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, fucking Malo was talking about that on Twitter. They were like,
Yeah.
the Food House album goes crazy, and I was like,
It's-
I don't know
it's
what that
a-
is, but
It's a wild one.
I will listen to that at some point, probably. I want to make a DJ mix for the end of the year. I know nobody really listens to my mixes, but I want to do it anyway. God damn it, I accidentally summoned the ghost again.
Swear I fell in love with the ghost boy.
No, I'm not. Well, the ghost in Spelunky is actually a girl. Fun canon trivia for you.
Really?
Yeah. If you take a picture with the camera item, she like reverts to her human form for a few seconds.
Huh.
She's like a fucking Victorian lady.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. The ghost is very popular among a certain set of people, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah. Oh man. So the past couple of weeks have been a thing.
How have you been doing?
I'm okay. You know, kind of chilling, enjoying playing Dungeons and Dragons with some friends.
Oh yeah, right. You said you got into D&D. How's your campaign going?
Pretty well. We play on Saturdays, and I am a bard that is also a robot.
Yeah.
I have Zoe with me now. Zoe is my kitten.
Oh.
Well, our kitten.
We love a baby.
We do stan a baby.
She is a tuxedo cat, and she is beautiful.
Tuxedo
and...
mask?
Oh my god, it is Tuxedo Mask.
Oh.
I can't believe it.
I didn't realize he would get angry at me for that, which I guess is kind of dumb in hindsight, but...
Stop.
She is here, and she is making big purrs, if you can hear them.
I can't, but I will take your word that she is making...
Well, she kind of ran away.
God, top 10 anime betrayals.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Well, she's looking under the way too much trash in my room, and just
Is she
looking.
Is she looking respectfully?
She's hunting for mice, which I would consider a sign of respect. You know, cause like.
Get him? No.
Did you get him, son? Not even son, though. So, did you get him, daughter?
Are you
Reunite
in
with
it?
loving son and daughter.
Alright. Are you succeeding? Indeterminate child?
Indeterminate child.
Dang, just out of the blast radius. Pity.
I'm gonna try to jump on his head. This is probably gonna backfire horribly.
Good luck.
Yep,
Just jump
okay,
on
yep,
people's heads.
okay. Wait, no, he's stuck in the thing. What? What?
Did he fucking roll you without a weapon?
Headbutted to death.
He had a whip also, which I did not know.
Oh,
Okay.
so he literally whipped your ass. Well, okay, your front.
Shredney,
When a problem comes along,
you must whip it.
Must whip it.
before the cream sits out too long.
You must
You
whip it.
must whip it.
What is that song about?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, two things. One is, trying to, overcome your problems in the and it's done in the corniest way possible because of their whole, pseudo 50s aesthetic. But also, it's probably at least partly about masturbation.
No.
I'm serious. It's
no.
Devo.
I'm putting a veto on that one. A veto on Devo.
Like,
You can't veto Devo.
I can veto Devo, and I just did. I vetoed Devo so much you can call me Danny DeVito.
I mean,
Danny DeVito veto.
oh, Zoe is yelling to be let out of the room. Oh. Do you hear her?
Yeah, that's how cats are. They're like, let me in is in for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let me out.
Yeah, she can be very verbal sometimes.
Mur wants to know if you have a jellicle cat, which, to be honest with you, kind of sounds like some sort of derogatory term for a kind of cat. And probably not what it is, but...
It's
from
the cats from Cats.
Oh.
Yeah, and from the Book of Practical Cats.
By T.S. Eliot.
Yes.
How practical.
Mr. Mephistopheles and...
Rum Tum Tugger.
The Rum Tum Tugger,
Hey, I would like
Grisabella.
to give you guys something to consider.
Yeah.
Danny Brown saying Rum Tum Tugger in one of his raps.
Grizzly.
I am so not surprised.
Just consider the idea of that.
Look, Jane, that's not surprising.
No,
it's
this
Danny
isn't
Brown.
an actual lyric. I'm saying I want you to consider it and conceptualize it.
No, but I
in your mind.
wouldn't be surprised because it's Danny Brown.
No, I know. It's not about being surprised. I just want you to consider it.
Okay. I mean, I am considering it, and I'm like, yeah, that scans.
Good. He released like a teaser snippet for his album was coming out
cool.
next year, and the cover, like the thumbnail, because it was a Twitter video, was a picture of him photoshopped next to the teacher from Persona 5.
He has a collab with the frickin' Bauer in GTA 5. It's very good.
Danny Brown does everything.
He's a force. I haven't listened to his stuff very much, but he's a hell of a guy.
All 3 of his last albums are like extremely good. And his mixtapes from before then are also pretty good.
I've heard Triple X and Atrocity Exhibition and like snippets of You Know What I'm Saying.
I really like that album. People are down on that album.
There are other
experimental. But...
I don't know. There are like some people I've seen who have been like, yeah, this is pretty damn good. It's just that there are like some people who are like, I guess newer fans who are like blown away by stuff like Atrocity Exhibition, especially, I'll be honest, like more hipstery fans.
It's people who like. I don't want to say people who think they're too good for regular rap music, but like. That's kind of what I mean.
I mean, it's not like that's not always the case, but it is like often the case.
Yeah, like a lot of the complaints I've seen basically boil down to like all he does on it is rap, and I'm like, yeah, he's a rapper.
Yeah, it's like
you guys heard of this? This is crazy new kind of music.
But I mean, there are also like more valid things about just like. Well, not valid in the sense of, like, objectively right or anything, but more like, I can understand, like, being into that sort of darker, more intense vibe.
No, like, that I get, but, like...
and, like, that's what I hear more, is, like, people are like, yeah, like, I respect what he's doing here, I respect his, work as an MC. Like, it's just that like I'm more into the more intense stuff.
I run into 2 opinions, and I respect one of them, and the other I do not respect at all. And the 2 opinions are like the one that you just described, and then the people who are like, this album's very bad, actually. And
yeah, they're
I have no patience for people.
Thankfully, I don't run into that as much because, like, most of the music fans I hang with,
it's
are like people who actually like hip hop. If you know what I mean.
It's the people on. Well, like, this is the weird part. Is like it's the people on like r/hip hop heads and stuff who only listen to like Death Grips and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that kind of music at all.
Yeah.
But if it's the only kind of rap you listen to, it will give you a skewed perception of the genre.
Yeah.
This Run the Jewels album has too many words.
I don't understand where like how Run the Jewels got shuffled into that crowd, to be honest with you, because
I mean,
like I like Run the Jewels, but they're a pretty standard rap group. Like they're a good one, but you know.
I was listening to their second album last night, like a couple of the tracks from that one, because that was what introduced me to their stuff, and I like them well enough. I haven't gotten the chance to listen to their newest one yet, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah,
I actually haven't listened to RTJ4 yet either. I was not super impressed by 3, so I just kind of put them into the category of rappers where I'm like, well, I'll listen to their music at some point.
I have heard really, really good things about 4.
Yeah. 4 came out at a pretty damn good time too, like, especially considering their whole subject matter, the stuff that they work with.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of those things where like I kind of feel like I'm at oh, good night, Mer. I kind of feel like I'm like out of touch with how people feel about them as a group, because I listen to their music and I'm just like, yeah, they're you know, a good rap duo who rap about, you know, well, sometimes they rap about interesting things. They have some other tracks that I'm a bit more down on, but like I don't think they're I meet people sometimes who think that they're like amazing, which I think is I don't know. It's not that I think it's a bad opinion. It's just like I don't really.
Yeah, they're like
way, I guess. They're like
I was not as sold on their first album as so many people were. Honestly,
honestly, I like their first record the best. Still,
I don't know. I haven't. Well, admittedly, I haven't listened to a ton of their stuff. Period. Honestly, like partly because I just wasn't massively sold on their. I liked their first album, but it was like, this is like
it. I mean, you know, what I like about them as a group, and you know, this is because LP is half of the duo, is like it sounds like something that would have come out on Def Jux like 10 years ago.
That is true.
Which I guess is now getting closer to 15 years ago. God, I'm fucking old.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But like, you know, I don't know. I've talked about this before. I have not listened to a ton of new rap music this year, and I feel like I've been happier for it, because the rap fandom is a weird way to phrase it, I guess, but like that has just like it's
subpar.
It's gotten very celebrity gossipy in a way I'm super huge on.
Yeah, no.
Even like the indie stuff.
Oh.
Like people talking about like fucking Milo or whatever, like he's somebody who shows up on TMZ, and I'm like, I don't
like, you mean, well, I mean, he's going by, you know, R.I.P. Ferrero.
Well, yeah, but like, I didn't know if you knew that, so that's why I called
it. No, I know that because I've seen like a couple of reviews of his stuff, and like, apparently his most recent album was real good.
Was Moonlight Pages this year? Was that last year?
What? I can't remember. It was like either end of last year or beginning of this year,
like February.
But yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's like, but
Did somebody look that up?
I've heard that one's real good.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite rap album I've listened to this year, and I've only listened to it like twice because I'm terrible. But
I mean, well, the thing is, often I'll like listen to an album like once and be like,
glances to the left, glances to the right. Logic. Hello, Bunny. How are you?
Oh, I mean, that's the funny thing. I've heard like, you know, like Logic's most recent album wasn't bad.
I didn't even know he put out an album this
year.
So
he was like like
that's how
so
out
after,
of touch
so
with everything
after
I've
the
been.
absolute horror double feature of complete horror, he said he was retiring, but before he was going to do that, he was going to do one more album. He releases this album, and people are like, "Holy shit, he's good again! What the fuck?"
You know what the like? Okay, I realize we're playing.
No, he's a Twitch streamer.
I realize we're playing into the joke by like, Bunny mentioned Logic, and now we're talking about Logic.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay, never mind. I only read the first part of that sentence at first, and I was gonna be like, well, if Bunny likes it, maybe actually it is good. But like,
yeah,
I don't know.
There are people.
Well, no. She was like, I've only listened to 6 albums this year, but it was top 5, which, you know.
Well, yeah.
It's not the 6th. You did like it? Okay.
No, yeah, okay. But yeah, like, that's the thing, is, like, people who don't like...
solid,
like, I've actually heard from, like, reviewers who do not like Logic, and I'm not just talking about that material, but, like, got tired of him before, were like, hey, this is actually decent. You know, this is, like, you know, it is not my favorite thing ever, period, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's legit.
I should check out some of the stuff I've been meaning to from various, you know, hip-hop artists this year that I just never got around to. I started to listen to Miracle on Mick Nichols, and that came out months ago.
But yeah, it's like weird is like 2020, the year that Logic releases a good album.
You know, good for
and it's like, huh, and then becomes a Twitch streamer.
Sounds very liberated and comfortable. I will say, I feel like rappers like that are at their best when they are not trying too hard. So maybe it is something I really like. I'll give it.
Yeah, that's like the thing is like that's actually like the whole thing about like what makes Confessions of a Dangerous Mind so like turgid and unpleasant.
This is an opinion of varying popularity depending on where you go. I actually think that that's the main reason that Eminem hasn't been good in years. Like,
yeah, he doesn't sound like he has any fun.
Like, he'll occasionally put out a track where I'm like, hey, it sounds like he actually enjoyed making this one. It's solid.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, everything I've heard
like,
from
his
Eminem...
full albums are just...
slogs.
Like, they're
yeah. Turgid is a great word to describe music like that.
It just, they're not even that long anymore, but they all feel like they're like fucking 5 hours long.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, I'm just, you know, speaking from like the tracks I've heard by Eminem over the last couple of years, and it's like he never sounds like he's having fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Psychoanalyzing Eminem is probably like the least least interesting thing anybody could possibly do. So I'm not even talking about psychoanalyzing. I'm just talking about the way it sounds. You know what I mean? You don't like it when I do that, huh? Okay.
Vandal.
Like I'm not the one that fired the
slur against actual vandalic people.
Hey,
God damn it.
Hey, Shredney. I don't know about this one.
Fair enough. Like, you know,
I don't know about this one. No, I know what you mean. I'm just saying I don't know about this one.
I know, but to be fair, the East Germanic tribes have largely been extinct or assimilated since the Middle Ages.
That's not why I said that. But fair
okay,
enough.
That's fair enough.
I listened to The Fat of the Land by The Prodigy for the first time in a couple years today.
How did you find it?
It's still a really good album.
That album, okay, I have not listened to The Prodigy since I was pretty young. But that album has one of my favorite remix album covers ever.
It's very good. It predicted Crab Rave.
Yeah, if anybody does not know, the album The Fat of the Land by Prodigy is a crab on a beach, like raising his hands, or his claws, I guess. And the remix album,
you know, is
that, but it's been The crab has been Photoshop copy and pasted many times, and there are now several dozen crabs.
So it's Section and all of his clones.
It's very good, yes.
You know, everyone's favorite crab.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I wonder if Section even likes the Prodigy, but
it doesn't really seem. Like
it doesn't seem like his cup of tea, but like it's possible.
The
like
Goths deserved better.
The Goths did deserve better.
I too have this longing thought while playing as Theodoro in EU4.
Indeed.
There's a joke that nobody here will get.
No, I got it. Like, I know enough historical bullshit to completely get it.
Someone pinged me on Discord.
Did you know that, that the Goths, survived in some form in Crimea until, like, the 1800s?
Yes, that is in fact what the Principality of Theodoro was.
Yeah, it was like in Crimea. There are records on tombstones and things, and they, like, historians talk about how they speak like this weird Saxon-inflected form of Gothic.
Yeah, that's what the the joke. Yeah, that's the joke I was making.
But yeah, it's like. Crimea was kind of an interesting place in that way, in that you also had, like, the survival of the, sort of cultural, sort of like the language and culture of what remained of the, not Sultanate, Khanate of the Khazars. You know, the,
Why does he immediately go for you if you pick the freeze ray?
He
was suspicious, but I was too quick on the draw.
The Jewish Turkic group.
Yeah.
With red hair.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
You know what else is dope? Kansas.
What? Yes, that is true.
Move that dough and move that dough and move that dough.
You've got to buy.
Young enough to still sell dope, but old enough that I knows better.
I think we just did like 4 different songs. We have no coordination when we do that. We gotta.
What I thought of was smoke weed every day, but it's that being transferred to Darude's Sandstorm. You know,
oh my god.
You know, song referenceception.
Hey, here's a fun quiz. What is that song actually called? No looking it up.
Better Off Alone by Alice DJ.
No.
you mean the song that particular Snoop Dogg bit is from?
Yeah. That's not Snoop
Crap.
Dogg, by the way.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
It isn't.
It is not. That lyric is. I'm pretty sure that lyric is by Hitman, who nobody knows who that is anymore. But he was. He was the guy that did the chorus to that. Well, like I guess it's like a bridge. Yeah. To the next episode.
Hold up.
Yeah, which is like, why is it like? It's funny to me that the meme got associated with Snoop Dogg. That's not says that part in the song. He's on it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah,
it's not him.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of people who it's like every time Dr. Dre releases an album, there will be like 1 or 2 people on it who just never do anything else again. And on 2001, those people were Hitman, and I think that was also the one that Bishop Lamont was on. Just
didn't Bishop Lamont like technically do 1 or 2 other things?
Well, I mean, like that's how it is. Like, technically, they will always have done other stuff after they get out of their really long contracts with Aftermath. I had to think to remember what the Dre's. I can't remember what it was called. But like in practice, like nobody cares about anything else King Mez has done. Like, you know.
Yeah, but oh crap, what is that song?
What one?
The one that Smoke Weed Every Day is from.
Oh, well, Trey said it already.
By Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Which one by Dr. Dre? Like
the next episode is the title of the song.
Episode.
Yes.
Sorry, I know I like auditory processing.
No, it's okay.
So it goes. But yeah, like, but yeah, I thought, I'd heard Trey mention that before. I was just, not 100% sure. But yeah, I did dimly remember that it was Dr. Dre. I just did not remember what song. Like, it was like, this.
Are you
this is
aware that he's still DRE?
Just like I'm still TRE.
Yeah. You should make that like your status on Twitter or something.
What has Dre even done in the last any period of time?
He made the album Compton, which was really good, and
since then,
he's just been vibing since then, I suppose.
Dr. Dre doesn't need to do a damn thing ever again.
Compton's not a perfect album, but it's really good. So if he wanted to leave it there, I wouldn't begrudge him. No, the headphones actually predate the album Compton by a good number of years.
I'm aware of that too. But it's
did he sell the Apple after that?
I don't know.
I think it may have been shortly before.
What do you guys think Dr. Dre is doing right now?
I don't know.
Probably smoking a blunt.
That's the weird thing. Okay, like this is one of those things that I always think about this. Like people, like celebrities whose like brand is built around smoking weed. Do they actually smoke that often? Like I would not. If it was like my whole thing, I would be long past the point where it would become like a chore to me. Like I would do it for the cameras and never any other
Snoop
time.
Smokes. Let's be real. Snoop absolutely smokes as much as he says he does.
Well,
he said that with Snoop, he said for a while, "I've quit weed," and then
quit weed. Like the thing, like we can maybe make an exception for Snoop Dogg, but like if I was Dr. Dre, I would be, lighting up for the music videos, and then at every other time I would drink some nice chamomile tea. That's what I would do.
But see, like,
and perhaps that's why I'm not Dr. Dre.
With Dre, I kind of like picture him like doing a brief evening workout, having a nice dinner, maybe a glass of wine, maybe smoke some weed. Actually, in the book, it's a different type of wine. That was an extremely nerdy, pedantic sentence.
Yes, it was.
I can't even remember what type of wine it is. It's like a weird. It's a
finish your fucking Dr. Dre microfiction.
And I don't know. He just like gets ready for bed, and like maybe. I don't know, reads like a magazine or something. Maybe reads a book. Probably nonfiction, possibly a novel.
You're probably not even wrong, but I like that you just gave, you've just described the domestic scene from the life of Dr. Dre.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he probably does, honestly, standard person things in the evening, and admittedly kind of sort of standard rich person things, but not necessarily 100%. Like, he has specific things that he does that I think, you know, you can kind of, like...
You think him and Iovine still talk?
Who?
Jimmy Iovine.
Oh, well, given what I know about Jimmy Iovine, like...
Probably not.
Probably not. Dude kind of seems like a dick, but, you know, what do I know?
Who's Jimmy Iovine again?
Record label executive who broke a bunch of bands and artists. But
I thought that's
widely regarded as like sort of a huge douchebag.
I think he's the Interscope man.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
I had assumed for the longest time his name was pronounced like Iovine or something.
Honestly, I don't know. But,
who cares?
But like I mean, I've heard of him. It's just that I couldn't remember exactly what his whole deal was.
Yeah, but that's who that is.
But yeah,
Apple also put him in charge of Apple Music at one point, I think.
Huh.
Like early on in their thing while they were trying to develop it. I'm not sure if he still works for them.
Actually, hold on. We could talk about. Do you guys hear that the virtual YouTuber Maury Calliope went to #1 on iTunes for like most of the last 2 weeks?
Huh.
What?
Yeah. I'm like I like.
Wait, who was it? Oh no, it was Gura that did the jokey cover of Baka Mitai.
Maybe. Calliope's the one with the pink hair.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
she is a rapper.
Oh my!
Outsold T.I. and Benny the Butcher on iTunes, and it
just, that is so fucking good.
Like, to be honest with you, I don't really like her music that much. I think she has a very entertaining video personality, but it's not really my thing. But I've just like it's been living in my head since it happened because I'm like, man, we really do live in a strange world.
I mean, we live in the. It's not even the. I don't know. Maybe it isn't the shittiest cyberpunk future, but it's definitely one of the strangest and jankiest.
People have strong opinions on her music that are not always positive. So depending on who you ask.
But either way, like,
it's what it, like I'm not even really bringing it up for any particular reason beyond just like that's fucking weird.
I mean, again, we live in janky cyberpunk future.
We live in a society.
It's
to an extreme degree. We live in a society.
But okay, what was I gonna say? Was incidentally. Earlier, I watched a video, like, finally figuring out what the fuck the whole Baka Mitai thing was about. And, like...
I don't know what you're referring to, by the way, so, like...
You know the song, Baka Mitai? You know, like, the song What Is a Meme that's apparently from Yakuza 0.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And, it's actually a banger.
I mean, it's
an Enka thing.
You're entitled to that opinion.
No, it's actually legit.
I don't like that song. I find it annoying. But again,
But I watched a thing discussing the way that it like the sort of
bad opinion. Wow, fuck you. Get out of here. No, sorry. I was talking to Chad. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, maybe you were talking to Sorrow. But, was talking sort of about, like, the different sort of, like, stuff with the chord progression and melody and, sort of interesting music theory-y stuff about it. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat to, like, just, like... Because, like, there's a lot of interesting sort of stuff that one takes for granted when one listens to, like... even, like, casually listens to Japanese pop music that's, like, there are specific things and then, like, being able to, like, put it into words. Oh, yeah, that's what that thing is that they do. You know what I mean? Like, Oh, it does that weird chord thing where it does this very specific progression, and it's like, yeah, that is a weird Japanese pop thing.
Like
how. Well, I mean, this is gonna make sense. Like, okay, maybe a few people here will get this, but it's like, for example, doing the thing where you go into like a major key, and then you do the 4 chord, and then
the 5th, hallelujah.
No, then like a 5, but it's over the 7th degree in the bass.
Yeah, Tredney, I'm not gonna lie to you. You might as well be speaking a foreign language at me right now.
Trey, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, vaguely.
Like in G, you'll do like a C. Like in G, you'll do a C major 7, and then a D over C, and then an E minor, B minor kind of progression, without actually hitting the home chord until relatively late.
E.
Yeah, and that's like a very distinctly especially in Enka, but also like in, like J-pop more generally. It's like a thing.
I C major 7th your mom yesterday. Go? No.
No. No, Go. No.
Alright.
How's everybody doing?
Chilling.
Yes, Go. Don't... If you're gonna post the flushed emoji, actually post it. Don't just post the code for it. What?
Oh no!
Stabbed by the golden idol.
A lion trap perforated me.
Stabbed by the golden idol, I just realized, sounds like a thrash metal song or something.
She's a dwelling place for demons.
What's that?
Beast and the Harlot by Avenged Sevenfold.
I haven't thought about them.
Yeah, that band.
That's one of my brother's favorite bands.
Huh.
Which is like a neutral value judgment. It's just that's the kind of.
Yeah, I don't
Literally, the only reason I know it is because it's in one of the Rock Band games. I forget which.
It's weird because he's like a little bit too young to have been around for Rock Band and Guitar Hero's heyday. But I would describe my younger brother's musical taste as like Guitar Hero core.
Huh.
Like he's a why have I suddenly forgotten the name of the band? He's a Dragon Force fan.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
But so like I'm just
so far away, we wait for the day.
Like Rock Band is the main reason why I know any Strokes songs, which is funny because they were very, very big outside of that when I was, coming of age, but like I didn't, I just never got around to listening to them because they never seemed like a kind of band I would be into.
Could not name a single Strokes song to you, and like that started as simple coincidence, but now I've realized that the Strokes are one of those bands that people have very strong opinions on, and I'm kind of mildly afraid to listen to them because then I will develop.
I mean, in terms of ones that were in Rock Band, like the song Reptilia, the one that goes.
It's a good album.
He seemed impressed by the way you came in.
Yeah, there's like, it's like it is a perfectly solid song. It's just like, I don't know. It's like I feel like they were one of those bands that were hyped to death, and so I never felt the compunction to like. And also, they did kind of like a garage rock-y thing.
That's the one people were like, yeah, that was like the last American rock band that was like like big, right?
And yeah, like last really big American rock band that also on top of that didn't like sound like a retread of like 10 other bands.
Yeah, that like they had like actual critical cred too, I guess.
And also had critical cred on top of that.
Like what even? Okay, here's a fun game for you. What is the most notable rock band to have come out of the United States in the past 10 years? Because I can't think of it.
Ooh, like most of them are gonna be like
I hate what immediately came to mind. And not even on account of the fact that I don't like them, because like I did decently think that they were okay for a while.
Okay,
but
Vampire Weekend fair, maybe. Wait, no, they're earlier than that.
Imagine Dragons. It's Imagine Dragons.
Well, like,
Imagine Dragons. Well, Imagine Dragons barely count.
Are Imagine Dragons a rock band? Because
they barely count.
I don't like. Do they play their like? Okay. I'm not this person. Normally.
Do they play their rock-ish material?
But do they actually play instruments? Like,
yes, they do.
They do. Okay. Because like the archetypal Imagine Dragons songs to me are Radioactive, which is good, but like
it does have guitars on it.
It does it? Yeah, it does. It does.
Doesn't seem like it does.
Maroon 5 blew up in like 2003.
Yeah, Maroon 5 is old.
Maroon 5's been around for a while.
Has like 7 members in it.
Yeah, it's just that all of them have essentially been borderline replaced by session.
Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com.
Somebody neutralize this.
Hey guys, don't click those.
Let me get the sword out. Hang on.
Thank you, Trey.
Why this of all fucking channels?
But hey, so
I've got like 10 regular viewers. Get out of here.
What I was gonna say was, well, maybe that's why they think that we need them. No. What I was gonna say was like in terms of like when I think of rock bands that are more recent that have had a lot of success, they're stuff like Five Finger Death Punch, honestly.
Are Five Finger Death Punch popular?
The weirdest thing is like that's the thing is like if there are those huge festivals out in the middle of nowhere that like
what the fuck?
Where they will have like 500,000 people at their fucking shows, and like
I don't know, like festival popular is different from popular.
But that's what I'm saying is that like there are actually a shocking amount of like these weird festival popular bands like them, or all of those ex-metalcore bands that now play like weird post-grunge.
Like, okay, let's alter the parameters of the question a little bit. Last popular American rock band that had at least like a broadly favorable critical reception.
And that's what I'm saying is that they don't have a broadly favorable critical reception. Now, in terms of ones that had a broadly favorable critical reception, ooh, that's harder.
Like I can't think of one more recent than The Strokes.
Like ones that's one that's actually popular.
Yeah, like they have to both be pretty popular and
from the United States.
Like the closest thing I can think of is a group like Pup or something, because they occasionally crack the rock charts, but like.
Yeah, but that's
still like pretty neat.
And also, like, there was a point where 30 Seconds to Mars were in that category, but not anymore.
That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, also their most recent album,
Smash Mouth are not a rock band. Get out of here. Smash Mouth are a pop group. I like Smash Mouth.
They're a power pop group.
I mean,
Power
I guess,
pop
I
counts.
guess that's technically true. But
And
also that was
they've
the
been-
90s.
But
That was
also,
longer
yeah,
ago
like
than the
Smash
Strokes.
Mouth have been around since like the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like that is
All
not...
Star came out in like 98 or something.
Yeah, and they were releasing stuff before that.
Yeah.
Like they'd been releasing like albums and EPs going back to like 94, something like that. They were part of that whole like loungy sort of power pop rock thing.
The lounge
that
revival,
happened.
which is a genre that most people don't know existed, and that's
And that basically
possibly for the better.
the funny thing with the lounge revival is that you could arguably say that has roots in bands like Broadcast and Stereolab,
Wow,
who were
that's-
like extremely legit.
That's absolutely amazing, Trey.
It's so dumb. Like,
This is a bad website.
what?
Anyway, I had a quick
Amazon. You have the technology.
I'll be back in a sec.
Well, it's not.
I'm so confused.
It's not being used to spy on people and sell the info to cops, so they don't care. Yeah, like, I don't know. I want to keep talking about this when Shredney gets back, 'cause I think this is an interesting subject. I'm really struggling to think of anything more recent than the Strokes. Maybe
like, yeah, Vampire Weekend's a solid one, but like I feel like they're more respected in indie circles than like a
I don't know if
mainstream
they're I don't
major
know.
success.
I guess defining popular enough is kind of hard, but like Vampire Weekend is at least in the conversation.
Yeah.
And when did they blow up? Like 2007 or so?
Yeah, probably around like 2008, 2007-ish. Like they're self-titled, and then Contra around that era.
Right, they have an album called Contra. God, that's like an insufferably indie band move. Anyway.
And the picture that they used on the cover was of some girl
My
like a
Chemical
Polaroid.
Romance, of course.
MCR, they were before the Strokes, though.
Were they?
Yeah, they were before the Strokes.
Okay.
And so was like Fall Out Boy. Like
When
Fall
did
Out
the
Boy might have
Strokes-
been around the same time.
When did the Strokes get popular? Because I thought that was like early 2000s. Like,
I mean,
like
it might have
2001.
been. It might have been a similar time frame. Like, when did Is This It come out? Is This It is from 2001. Okay, and My Chemical Romance must have been like around maybe 2002. So
Yeah, okay, just
comparable
barely
time
later.
frames, like-
Okay,
maybe.
so Pup do come to mind as like being a band that, but they're not quite as popular.
We found one that's like just barely slightly later than the
Which
Strokes, MCR.
My Chemical Romance, yeah, well, no, that's still early 2000s.
Well, like we
Early to
compared when their popular when their breakthrough albums came out, and MCR was
like-
just
So-
literally a year later.
So if you go to rock music on Spotify,
Okay,
if I'm pulling this up,
if we're bringing in the sort of like
Ah,
the sort of
Trey,
melancholy.
you cut Trey off.
Sorry.
God, Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah. Well, Bring Me the Horizon are such a weird situation because, like, they've actually gotten more critical acclaim after they sold out,
Yeah.
and which is funny because they started out as like a legit and really gnarly like second wave deathcore act, and they were actually in on the game pretty early. Like they were like doing that like really mathy technical style of deathcore too, like
Right.
like really fast weird time signatures, like no song structure. And they still play that stuff like live. They do a medley of it. And in between their like sort of borderline pop punky stuff that they do now.
Would 21 Pilots count?
Oh, that's an interesting one. They're more of a
21
pop band, but
yeah, like 21 Pilots, like
They have a rocky aesthetic, but like I feel like calling them a rock band is a stretch.
Well, the important thing, the more important thing in my mind is like 21 Pilots are not really like critically respected, right? Or are they? I don't know.
People really like French.
Yeah, they've gotten pretty solid responses from like the press.
Okay.
And surprisingly, like
just
Blurry Face got like an okay reception, and Trench got a better one.
Okay. Fan-wise, I think that the fan favorite album is actually Vessel, which was their last record that they came out with before like they really blew up.
It might be 21 Pilots then.
Yeah, probably.
Because like 21 Pilots are indisputably like huge. Because I hear 21 Pilots songs on the radio. That's impressive anymore.
Like they're fucking gigantic.
Their Quarantine song is actually pretty damn good.
I've heard it's good. So in terms of
we could talk about Greta Van Fleet.
Greta Van Fleet are not good. And we're not going to...
You guys want to know a fun fact about Greta Van Fleet?
What?
I talked to my stepfather about music for the first time, like, since he moved out of our house years ago. Found out that they're one of his favorite new bands.
Oh, no.
My stepdad continues to just have just the worst taste in everything.
Everything.
No. It's fine, Go-Go. You
okay, I'll explain Greta Van Fleet in like a sentence. When they're not ripping off Led Zeppelin, which is about 80% of the time, they're ripping off Rainbow.
They're just like the thing about Greta. The thing about Greta Van Fleet is they're not like offensively bad. They just have. Like
no original.
Zero new ideas, and
that includes like
that they riff on are like both very well known and several decades old. So it's just like weird.
Yeah, like so the thing about also
Trey,
it's like,
you should share the Hot Topic story.
It's like...
walking into Hot Topic in 2020 is an odd experience because like it feels like it's frozen in time. Like just the idea of it has pretty much stayed pretty consistent with it. Like they changed the logo, so obviously that isn't the way it was initially, but you know, you walk in and you can still buy like Invader Zim shirts, and like most of the bands and stuff like are, I mean, it's modern pop punk stuff as opposed to like the stuff that was popular during their like peak or whatever. But like still, like if I wanted to get like a Youngblood shirt or a Billie Eilish patch, that'd be the place to do it.
That makes sense. No, like I get that. Like that.
I kind of love that because I was deprived as a youth.
Yeah.
Like there weren't any Hot Topic locations where I lived when I was a kid.
That's what the kids who are, you know, they constitute like the neo Hot Topic crowd.
Like
that's what they listen to nowadays.
It's interesting that like it's kind of like
hold on.
Part of.
Yeah, okay, we're still live. Can you guys hear me out there?
Yeah, I had a Discord disruption.
I think what happened is that my internet hiccuped for a second, but not for notably long.
But yeah, like okay, so just like a quick additional thing I wanted to say because I saw what with SF Sorrow said about Greta Van Fleet being dad rock bait is like the thing about like what the problem is that I've seen and I think Fantano articulated it pretty well when he talked about them is basically that they kind of not only do they like it's not purely, as I said, it's not purely Led Zeppelin, but it's like 80 to 90% Led Zeppelin that they imitate. They also imitate like the flaws of them to like an and the positives, but while not doing like being as good songwriters, and it's to an uncanny degree, like it's an uncanny valley version.
It like I don't. Okay, I know that Pitchfork, on the whole, is kind of a divisive publication nowadays for good reason.
Yeah,
but I read their review of the most recent Greta Van Fleet album,
Anthem of the Peaceful Army.
Yeah, and
yeah,
they in that review, the critic, whose name is escaping me, I apologize. Described them as music created for a Spotify playlist. Like the middle parts of a Spotify playlist, where it's run out of songs you already know but hasn't gotten to like new ones you might like yet. Like it's playlist filler.
It hasn't gotten to the deep
exists. It exists to fill time on algorithmically generated music playlists on the 5 rock radio stations that still exist in the country that actually play rock music, and in Walmarts. Like, it's capitalism music. And not in a fun way either.
And it's also like, and it's actually kind of more depressing because it seems like most of the guys involved are kind of sincere about it.
Actually, yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't hate Greta Van Fleet. I think that whoever is managing them should be fired.
Yes.
And I hope that they eventually get to, because like they're all competent. It's just that they don't have any.
Yeah.
Like they don't have any. Like if they have any new ideas, they're not coming through on the records.
Yeah, and it's like it feels like they're not letting themselves, get loose.
They're competent formalists. They remind me of. They actually remind me a lot of Atomic Fireball, which is the band that my buddy Cody was in high school. So,
they're like what? They're like,
I didn't jump though. What?
Oh, ouch. That sucks.
Fuck out of here.
But it's like, yeah, they're like a really, really good cover band.
yeah, like,
and it's unfortunate. Because, like,
What is the song?
The song is Blame by Ju and Ikali.
Huh. I don't know those people.
Also, like...
Which I guess maybe proves your point, but, like, I don't know.
But
there's definitely worse things in the world than to be in a mediocre band. Oh,
yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, fuck Eckley in this chat.
Okay.
Like, I already mentioned Five Finger Death Punch. You could be Ivan Moody. Which is to say, you could be an asshole in a mediocre band. Oh, not even mediocre. A competent band that plays terrible music.
It's just like...
And you could be an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like there's like being in a mediocre band is not a moral failing. It's just like that they exist as not even a group, but as like a musical product that is sold to people.
Yes.
People are always like, oh, if you want a vision of what music's gonna be like in the future, listen to fucking 100 Gex. No. If you want to listen to the depressing realities of algorithmic music consumption, you listen to Greta Van Fleet, because that is what we're gonna get a lot of, is bands that sound kinda like things that used to be popular, but not quite as good.
I mean, also, the mono genre is not going to go away, so, like, to some extent, Imagine Dragons and AJR.
Yeah, like, here's the thing, though. the mono genre, as people have started calling that particularly weird, like, gray fog cloud brand of pop music. Like, that's at least a sound, like a specific,
but who the fuck
sound.
is it even for?
I mean, like, I don't really like it either, but what I'm saying is, when I listen to an Imagine Dragons song, at no point do I think that they, I think Imagine Dragons are making the music that Imagine Dragons want to make as as terrifying as that might be.
They're a little less cynical, yeah.
Like, it's just like,
I mean,
like, there's people who like that kind of music. I'm not one of them. But, liking music like that is, again, it's not like
okay.
I think it's bad music, but, like, I don't think that that's, like, an issue with a person.
No, like, okay, real talk. So, I listened to the entirety of Thunder a while back, like, to sort of get, like, a better grasp of what the fuck is up with it. And it's like, there's a bit in it where there's this weird thing that sounds like an out-of-tune guitar solo that I am fairly certain is a really distorted vocal made to sound like a guitar solo. And that's actually an almost experimental touch, and it's super fucking weird. And it's like, I don't think you would necessarily put that in exclusively because you're trying to make something commercial.
Yeah,
you put that in because you're trying to do something interesting.
Yeah, no, like, I think that Imagine Dragons think they're making good music. And, like, to be completely fair to them, and to be equally fair to any Imagine Dragons fans who are watching this VOD, like, they might be right. Like, there have been many times in history where the critical consensus on something has done a 180 after it ended. I would not be shocked if this is the music people are nostalgic for in, like, 2050.
That is an interesting point. I do think, though, I am going to be the cranky old bitch who's like, I hated them back then, I still give them this fucking side eye.
Yeah, no, that's, like, I don't like Imagine Dragons. I like Radioactive. I think Radioactive's an alright song.
Right, Radioactive is a good song, and, they're just very, they exist.
Obligatory Trey doesn't dislike Imagine Dragons disclaimer. I'm sorry, Trey. I don't, that's why I'm always like, I don't ever want to be, like, rude about it, really.
I don't want to be mean to people who are okay with them. I
feel the same way about Maroon 5. Like, they're not awful, and I feel like they get...
Maroon 5 feel way more cynical.
Maroon 5 is a weird group for me, because, like, most of their songs, well, like, recent songs, I think, are pretty bad. But then every once in a while they release one where I'm like, oh yeah, I used to really like this band when I was, like, a kid. But that's... like that Misery song that came out, like, a couple years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I like that
song. That's not
a
couple of years ago. That's almost a decade at this
Really?
point. Yeah.
I thought that was more recent. Okay.
No,
I have, like, full disclosure, I don't listen to, like, I don't listen to many full albums. I don't really listen to Maroon 5 full albums, especially.
Oh yeah.
So, like, my idea of their chronology might be kind of messed up.
Yeah, their most recent album, which was like a year or two ago, was called
Red Pill Blues.
Yeah, and I don't think it was meant to evoke that.
No, like, that's a thing. Like, people like got on their conspiracy theory stuff about that. I was like, there's no fucking way that Adam Levine knows
but
the problem is. Come on.
But the problem is that, like, what, you know, like, what's uncomfortable about it is that it winds up from what I've heard about, like, and seen some of the lyrics to it, is like it unintentionally makes that title.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps. I mean, Maroon 5
because
kind
like
of always
Adam
been like
Levine's
that,
lyrics have always been kind of bitchy.
Incidentally, Maroon 5, another one of my stepfather's favorite bands. Okay, can I, like, I'm sorry, like, I feel like I do this too often. I want to roast my stepfather for a minute.
Go
Man's
for it.
favorite bands, that he's told me at least. Fuel, Clearwater, Everclear, Maroon 5, Coldplay. I actually kind of like Coldplay, but still, like, favorite band, and fucking Greta Van Fleet. Like, what?
Fuel, I can't remember anything about other than they just kind of exist. Everclear
and there was
are
another
another
one. Skillet. He liked Skillet.
Oh, Skillet, really? The Christian nu metal band.
And like, I don't, because my stepdad's an atheist. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, yeah.
Like, he's just a very strange guy.
I mean, they're like not.
Respects.
They're not always like, from what I understand, like their stuff isn't always like super explicitly Jesus.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just,
I don't know.
But it's like
implied Jesus.
It's very implied Jesus. It's like, it's sort of like how Creed is very implied Jesus.
Yeah, he likes Creed.
Owl City implied Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Well, incidentally,
he's also one of the few people I've ever met who's like a genuine, unironic Nickelback fan.
Oof.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't hate Nickelback the way a lot of people do, but
yeah.
It's just like, I wouldn't call myself a fan of them either.
Yeah. Like, I actually don't hate Nickelback nearly as much as some people, but, I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, the problem with Chad Kroeger is that
Implied Jesus is my favorite Nine Inch Nails album.
Implied Jesus. Oh, man.
Like, I actually
you bring me closer to God.
Whoops. I actually think that my mom has much more interesting musical taste than my stepdad does. Or I guess you could argue that my stepfather's musical taste is interesting by virtue of being so...
It's the...
Like, I don't even know what word he would use.
He
is the focus test guy.
He's the Glenn of music.
That's weird. To Glenn.
I'm a jerk.
That's very rude. But
I mean,
but
who's it rude to, though?
No, that's rude to Glenn.
Okay, yeah.
My stepfather, like, all joking aside, it was like kind of a huge piece of shit for much of his life. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No,
Glenn is somebody. Like, we're not really close enough to be friends, but I do consider him like a friendly acquaintance. I mostly just find his media opinions a little bit
bizarre.
Odd. Yeah. Like,
yeah, like...
But, like I could talk about my stepfather's weird media opinions all day. This is a guy that thinks Cube 2 was one of the best movies ever made. I just don't understand, I just don't really understand how he processes media.
Yeah. Again, it's the focus test guy. He really
I
is.
guess.
But
his actual favorite movie is Back to the Future.
I mean,
which
that's
is like
the worst.
Like that's not a bad movie, but like
not even a weird opinion, but like it is like just
like favorite though.
Yeah.
But like Cube 2 and
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
that's a weird.
He really likes he likes the whole Cube series. And I know people like think the first one's okay, but I've never met anyone else who even sort of likes the second one. I think that movie is god awful, and I don't think I like all 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so that should tell you something about the quality of the film.
I mean, I thought...
Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Did the 5th one come out?
Yeah, the 5th one came out.
I literally didn't know that.
Okay,
I'll watch that sometime, I guess.
I have anywhere from mildly to moderately enjoyed the 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies I did see.
Yeah, like, I don't think they're high art or anything, but, you know.
I mean, the first one is probably... The first 2 are probably... Okay, easily best, but...
See, here's the thing, though, okay? Everybody's always like, the first one is the best, but the second one has weird, sea people, and I would argue that
actually, in
in
retrospect, yeah, you're right. The second one is the best. Probably.
I like the second one the best. I honestly don't remember the third one that well. The fourth one's okay.
They go to Singapore, right?
The fourth one is...
Oh yeah, no, the fourth one's the one with Singapore, yeah.
No, the third one's the one with Singapore.
Or third one, yeah, sorry.
Isn't the fourth one the one with the goddess?
No, the fourth one's the reboot.
I haven't seen the fourth. I've only seen 3 of them. Then I think
the villain, the only commonality between the first 3 and the fourth one is that Jack Sparrow is in them. The fourth one's basically
a completely different story.
Yeah, they were everybody really likes Jack Sparrow, so we'll just make a movie about him.
I have only seen 3 out of 4. 3 out of 5 at this point.
Jesus Christ.
The third one was fine, but it had its problems and wasn't incredibly memorable, despite having that whole weird thing where Jack Sparrow was shacking up with the goddess of the sea.
That one was number 3, right?
Yeah, was the third one the one with the weird, Jack Sparrow in purgatory scenes? Because I actually do like that.
Yes. I enjoyed those.
Yeah. You know.
That one was... Yeah, it was fun. It's just, I forgot a lot of it. It's just, but now that I remember it, it's, weird.
They're solid movies, I don't know.
That was,
I watch so few live-action movies that I don't really know what my barometer is for, what a good movie is. It's alright.
Yeah, I think that one's barometer should be... depending... A, did I enjoy this? Or alternately, B, did it make me feel and think things that, made it feel worth it to watch it?
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily mean enjoy, because movie can be unpleasant in the sense of, very emotionally taxing and still be good.
Here's how, just bad and weird and dumb my live-action movie opinions are. My favorite movie that is not animated is Citizen Kane.
Huh. Okay.
Which is I think most people would agree it's a very good movie, but also it's not really. That's like saying your favorite album is Revolver by the Beatles. Not even. That's like saying your favorite album is what's the most acclaimed Beatles album? Probably Sgt.
Pepper.
It's like saying your favorite Beatles album is Sgt. Pepper's. Your favorite album is Sgt. Pepper.
But it's not an invalid choice by any means.
It's just an obvious one. It's just that I haven't seen that many live action movies, and most of the ones I have seen, I watched direct on direct to TV, and most of those movies are not that good. So
but that's fair.
It's weird stuff that I only half remember. I've seen the Tracy Fragments, which is not a movie that a 16-year-old should have watched, but I did anyway. That was on fucking the IFC channel, and I watched it because it was on before their anime block that day. So I was okay.
What was the Tracy Fragments?
It's a movie about... To put it in the broadest language possible. It is a movie about sexual abuse. It is not, like, I don't remember it that well, to be honest with you. This was a long time ago. But it probably wasn't something I should have been watching I wasn't even 16. I was like 13 or 14. As a young teenager.
Yeah, that seems intense.
A baby child.
Yeah. Not my wisest move I made as a youngin.
Yeah, that's fair.
By the way, that into fucking Witchblade. So somebody is a programming genius to put it mildly.
Man. But so okay, here's the thing. One of my favorite movies for a long time, and the thing is, I haven't watched that many live action films in a while. My usual answers for my favorite films were Big Fish and Inland Empire.
That's a Lynch movie. I've never seen a David Lynch
movie. Not only a David Lynch movie. Inland Empire is one of David Lynch's, even by David Lynch even David Lynch fans are like, this one is fucking weird and it's really hard to sell people on. And I was like, I just decided to watch it once and I was like, this is so fucking cool.
You know.
And it's like,
I might be one of the no idea what Lost Highway is about.
Yeah, Lost Highway, I saw the beginning like half hour of Lost Highway, and I was like, this is amazing, but I never got to finish it.
It's an experience.
What is
I've only ever watched it through all the way once, but it's something.
So Inland Empire, because I want to give you an idea of sort of what it's like. The thing about Inland Empire, right, just to explain the initial plot, is like, so there's this woman who becomes an actress on a film that it turns out is a remake of a Polish art house film. And that older film, came to disaster because people who were playing in the film started acting out the roles that they were in real life of the people that they were playing in the film, and then a bunch of them died.
It's a good movie when even its premise is like very hard to describe.
And no, but that's how it begins, because then that starts happening to those characters. And then it starts to, the reality between the movie and what's actually happening and the original film and the story behind it start to blur together. And here's the thing about Inland Empire. It's like watching a dream. Or really a nightmare. And like, legit like a dream. Like, it has the logic and feeling of a dream. And it's honestly really unique.
Yeah, I've seen Perfect Blue.
Yeah, like,
I'm mostly making a joke, but people do compare that one to a Lynch film.
Yeah, like, Perfect Blue, I have seen. I have watched.
I think that's the only Satoshi Kon movie I've seen. Actually, I should watch.
Have you seen Paprika?
I haven't. It's been on my plan to watch for like 5 fucking years.
I watched Paprika when I was like 13 or 14, and I was like, "This is dope," but I don't entirely get it.
Maybe I will do that at some point this coming month, because I need to get back into the swing of watching things in general, because I'm like way behind.
It's like, I mean, like, I feel like I wasn't in the right mood for it at the time, but in retrospect it would have been something that I would have loved more if I were a little older and a little more mature, frankly.
Yeah.
Not necessarily mature as in, oh, deal with the boobs. I mean, as in mature as in emotionally.
That's not what you meant. I actually didn't know that there was nudity in that movie.
there's some weird sex stuff, but it's just like, I mean, it's not weird sex stuff as in, it's not super explicit or anything. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to spoil the thing, but it's like, it's about,
I will watch it, so like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's about dreams in Japanese society and capitalism.
Also bees. Wait. Sorry, we had a serious conversation go for too long. I had to make a terrible joke.
That's fair.
Yeah, but, I don't know. Actually, but also, like I think legitimately my top 2 movies at this moment would be still Spirited Away, which I decided when I was 11 was going to be my favorite movie ever, and I've stood by that. And
valid.
And The Adolescence of Utena.
I still haven't seen The Adolescence.
You haven't seen Adolescence?
I've watched the main series like 2.8 times.
Okay, well, when me and Alice
watch The Adolescence of Utena, then I will join you.
Yeah, when me and Alice get to that point in our group watch, I will make sure I invite you, because that movie is
yeah,
there was a point when I was doing my live watch where I was like, I think Ikuhara just became one of my favorite directors of all time, and
I'm glad
you will know that point when we watch the movie.
Oh, also, like, yeah, but yeah,
Spider-Verse would be up there for me too. That might be like the one, like not to sound like an uber weeb, even though I am, but that might be the one Western movie that would make, like, if I had to make like a top 5, that would probably be the one Western movie that would make it in there. Probably nearer the bottom of the list, but I do really like that film.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's like, in terms of like more, am I allowed to be that guy and be like, to be fair, the first 10 minutes of Up, actually?
No, you're not.
Because like Up is a good movie. Actually,
elevated by those first 10 minutes.
But those first 10 minutes are like perfect.
It's like how Coco is a good movie with one particular scene that just makes it a great movie.
I still haven't seen Coco, and I have gotten that impression.
Broadly similar to the premise of my 20 Perfect Minutes column, where I explore single great episodes in anime that may or may not themselves be great overall. You guys should read it.
It's a good one.
I was talking to the chat, but you guys can read it too if you want.
I have read
yeah, like,
what's up, Trey?
I have read some of it. I forget which ones, but like I've perused the blog, and
that's sort of
Jane Wright good. Jane Wright good.
That sort of reminded me of how like the Cowboy Bebop episode Brain Scratch is not one of the best episodes of that series, but its ending is fucking heartbreaking.
You also loved the Mao Mao review. Thank you.
Would love to see you do more cartoons.
I on my commission sheet, I wrote down that as long as I can like fit it into my payment structure, I am open to doing Western cartoons.
Yeehaw.
And the other thing is, as long as I can find them, because it's a bit harder to find American cartoons than it is anime on the internet.
Yeah. I wonder how hard it is to find like European cartoons.
Actually, here's a funny fact. Yaren actually had to buy Mao Mao for me. Which means that I now own the first season of Mao Mao on Amazon Video. If anybody would like to watch that sometime, I'll give you my password.
I think it's also on HBO Max.
It probably is, because it's a Cartoon Network series.
Yeah, for subscriptions and such.
That show's okay. It's not my favorite American cartoon I've seen recently, but it's solid. I think it's going to get better.
Yeah,
it's one of those ones.
From the episodes I've seen.
What's up?
It gave me that vibe from the episodes I've seen as well.
Yeah, it's a show that I feel like is kind of still finding its footing, but what is there is also pretty good.
the character designs are very cute.
Yeah. I really like Mao Mao's whole like kitty ninja thing. Or I guess he's supposed to be a samurai. I don't really know. He's Mao Mao.
I mean, oh god, what's the term for there's a term for that, for like not ninja, but like that sort of
like a
whole class of
wandering swordsman thing.
Oh well, that's Ronin.
Ronin.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of what they were going for, because he's got this whole thing where he's like, estranged from his family and whatnot. Also, actually, this has nothing to do with the quality of the show, but Mao Mao made me feel very old when I watched it, because there is an episode where Mao Mao's dad uses the word normie in a sentence, and
yeah.
I felt myself withering into dust when I heard that. It's like, oh no, the internet word has become regular.
I don't think that it was. To be fair, it was not always a 4chan internet word.
No, it's I am aware. Like, I'm aware that it no longer has that connotation to most people, which is probably for the better. But
and I don't think it was originally had.
Wow.
I don't think it really originally necessarily had that connotation, but it was. It's like that was way. That. Like, back in the day, that is way more of, like, a fucking internet nerd shibboleth. You know what I mean?
It was very, like... the specific sentence is no swords around the normies, which is...
It's pretty damn good.
It fits Mao Mao's dad, Shin Mao, is the one that says the line, and it fits his characterization in a way that I can't entirely describe, but the guy's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
You know. But it's a solid show that I think will get better. Provided that Cartoon Network don't fucking cancel it, is always the caveat, because they seem to like doing it right now.
Oof.
What
has happened with Infinity Train?
Third season. Third season dropped like a few months ago with literally zero promotion. Apparently, a fourth one is being made.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing with Infinity Train, to be honest.
I have not watched any of it except the pilot. I'll admit the pilot was my.
Oh, you got some catching up to do. Would you say it was or wasn't?
Wasn't entirely my cup of tea.
Well,
although I've heard that like the show seemed like, from what people say about the show, it seems more my.
The show did something very smart, which is it made it less Adventure Timey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like Adventure Time, but anytime I notice a weak point in a Cartoon Network series that has come out since, and this is also true of Mao Mao, which is a show that I do like, I'm like, you're trying too hard to be Adventure Time. You need to like, you need to like ease up on the, you know, calling fantasy things goofy names and like the mile-a-minute dialogue. Like, you're not Pendleton Ward.
Like, yeah, like
it's one of those things that will probably greatly outlive the actual Adventure Time fandom.
Yeah.
As such.
Also, like, it's worth noting that like a lot of the people working on Adventure Time are like, it was written by these people with like really specific writing voices who like have like a very like, for example, oh god, what's his face, who wrote the webcomic Forming. And
has he done anything else that I might?
Jesse
Moynihan,
yes. Like, that dude, like, Forming is fucking weird.
The thing, like, I think the thing
and
was
it's like, and then
sorry.
there's like, I mean, there was also like Rebecca Sugar, obviously. You know, Xylith, I can't remember her. Something a fawn. Like these are not people who are like trying to imitate them. Seems a little bit like missing the point.
It's like if you had
including
me,
Pendleton Ward.
If you had me make a list of top 10 American cartoons, Adventure Time would be on there somewhere. I don't know what spot, but it would be there.
Oh,
and like the thing with that show is that the writing at the time. Well, there's two things. Wow, I completely lost I'm just gonna restart. I completely lost the plot on this level. Like the writing was really unique at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that Adventure Time had like one of the best production stables an American cartoon has ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people like overlook that.
Yeah.
Some of the people moved on to Steven Universe and other stuff, but a lot of them like either don't work in cartoons anymore, or they like their role has changed. Like like Rebecca Sugar went from a writer to a director and like an overall showrunner.
And these were people who came out of, again, like I mentioned, Moynihan, like doing stuff with went from doing stuff like webcomics and things and like weird experimental comic stuff to doing storyboards for this show and writing stuff. And then you also have people who did short films, people who work mainly in like background kind of animation capacities.
Like it was a very like people have their problems with Lord as a creative, and I think that those are valid criticisms generally, because I haven't seen much of Midnight Gospel, but I'm not a fan of what I have seen. But that aside, and also aside the fact that people have different opinions on things, and that's fine. Like I think he was very good at assembling talent.
Yeah,
like he's one of the things I always say that I find lacking in American cartoons is there's not a lot of strong directorial voices.
And
there's also Ward had a strong directorial voice.
And he's also like, even if you look at what little I've seen of like the animation from Midnight Gospel, is he's an animator's animator, if you will.
Yeah, no, that show looks great. It's one of those things. Like, to be clear, it's one of those things where the premise just kind of doesn't.
The premise and like the quote unquote writing, which isn't really writing.
That's just a me thing.
It's like
because I know
Ward's.
I know people who like that show, and I'm not trying to be rude.
It's like Ward himself is not the problem with that show.
No, but regardless, like he had a very strong directorial voice, and there's not a lot of that in American cartoons, and when you do get it, it's not always good. Like people worship the ground that Craig McCracken walks on in some circles. I cannot stand that guy. I think he makes bad cartoons. Like I
what are like some things he's
Craig
done
McCracken's things that he's known for are Powerpuff Girls and Fosters, and people like those shows. I'm not saying that
Fosters
is one of my favorites.
Yeah, like again, people like those shows, and there are I get the appeal.
We have the full spectrum there.
Yeah, we have
Jane
like,
is not a fan.
I am
like neutral on Fosters, and Trey is a serious fan.
Welcome to Animation Debate. No, God, no.
Oh my God.
But like I think that the people who like those shows like them for reasons that are like real. Like I don't think that it's a matter of like, oh, they don't really know how it is. It's just like his directing style really rubs me the wrong way, and some of the writing, This one's not much of a Foster's thing, but like a Powerpuff Girls thing. Some of the writing in that show really pisses me off.
Valid.
But like Craig McCracken is like the only other example, like recent-ish example that I could think of.
Tartakovsky too.
Tartakovsky. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. I forgot about Tartakovsky, but he's one of the few recent-ish examples I can think of of an American cartoon director who has like a strong directorial voice and has also gotten to do like more than one project. Because there's people like Maxwell Adams or Mr. Warburton, but they've only done Warburton
a handful of things.
Has two cartoons, but not very many.
There's Butch Hartman, but we don't talk about Butch Hartman.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid, Trey. Like, there's like most of the people who I had spoken to who like that show. That's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm sorry. I feel like sometimes I get acerbic, and I don't mean to. I just
no. You were fair.
You know.
But yeah, like
there's very few things I will genuinely get on people's cases for liking. There's not many.
But like what I was gonna say with Craig McCracken, yeah, the writing in. So while what I have seen of the reboot was infinitely worse, a lot of like Powerpuff Girls writing could be kind of mean-spirited.
It was, yeah, like that's a thing that, like that's a thing that I see a lot of in, like especially like the cartoon school of like the people that Cartoon Network developed as directors. Like I don't, like especially Billy and Mandy, which that's another one where a lot of people really like that show. I think it's kind of terrible, but that's
I do not.
That's just
like
my
that.
Onion. If anybody else likes it, that's fine. Obviously, it's just like
what I remember that show like. Grim was the tolerable aspect to that show.
Yeah,
and also that one Dune reference, that one episode that was just
it's not even like I don't think the problem with that show was the characters. It was just like
mean.
It felt like they didn't really know what to do with them. Yeah, like Mandy is an interesting character, like a character archetype that I like, which is like. Small child who is way too intelligent for her age, and like in Maddie's case also she's like evil or something,
kind of a sociopath.
No, I think a point is made of she's like elementally evil or something. Like I remember there was an episode
as opposed
about this,
to like I think in a way of all things. And you're not. I know you're not fond of this one either. And speaking of ones with a strong directorial voice, Invader Zim, the way they handle
I don't have any strong opinions on Zim. I've never seen it.
It's like Gaz is a version of that character that I think is better handled. Because the funny thing about Gaz is while she is definitely like largely devoid of empathy, she also is actually arguably smarter than her brother, who thinks very highly of himself, although he would not say as much. She also is extremely apathetic, and that's like that's kind of fun is when she actually does something.
I will admit that if I have a huge blind spot in this regard, it's the fact that I mostly watch Cartoon Network shows. I was not really allowed to watch Nick or Disney, so if I ever did get to see any of it, it was only like intermittently.
In terms of like strong directorial voice, there was a little more of that with Nick because
they had Hillenburg. For one.
Well, what did Steven Hillenburg do? That's the SpongeBob guy, right?
SpongeBob.
Okay.
Yep.
What else did he do?
I don't think that he had any other major ones.
I think it was
the thing about it is that SpongeBob is SpongeBob.
Yeah,
so
SpongeBob ran for like 2 trillion years. So
I was gonna say that like actually Klasky and Chupo, who formed Klasky Chupo, but
the
Rugrats
like, fellas.
Rugrats, but also Real Monsters.
I've never seen.
And Rocket Power, right?
And I think, and Rocket Power, actually. But, like, yeah, they had a distinct look, distinct kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Even if their shows varied in quality.
That's another thing that I think is, like... I want to phrase this carefully, because if I phrase it the wrong way... somebody will like dig up this VOD in 3 years and be like, actually all anime looks the same.
Oh no.
Which is also but like a lot of American cartoons look like they don't look similar, but they don't have a strongly distinctive style, is what I would say. And I think that Klasky Chupo have a strongly distinctive style.
Oh yeah,
but like stuff like Billy and Mandy, like I just don't really know what they were going for.
Yeah, it's like very much generic cartoon.
Yeah.
Whereas,
which actually, now that I think of it, that's not really much of a thing anymore. So
it's not as much.
Yeah. Like I know people
with...
get on the whole fucking Cal Arts thing, but that's bullshit.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's like and it's also worth noting that like if you look at like a lot of the different shows in the quote unquote Cal Art style, it's sort of like the whole thing with a quote unquote generic anime style is actually it's a bunch of different styles that are broadly converging in some characteristics.
People are dumb. There's also a couple other shows I've seen that do Adventure Time's look, which I don't totally know how I feel about that. Although one of them is Bravest Warriors, which I think is also that's also Ward. So I guess that's fair.
Pendleton Ward designed the characters, and while he does not direct it, he is involved in production and stuff. Bravest Warriors is occasionally fun.
I haven't seen that show in years.
I enjoy that one. I feel like with its production changed midway through, because like the first 3 seasons are all by Frederator down here, but season 4 was co-produced by Nelvana from Canada, and so it ended up becoming more of like a TV show sort of cartoon rather than what it had going on before, which was like a bit more of a web series type of thing.
Yeah.
And it changes the feel in a way where it's like...
Does it actually... Sorry, I'm interrupting, but does it actually like look notably different?
Yes. The character design stayed...
When you have a second.
Yeah, the character designs stay the same and everything. Like, functionally speaking, like visually, everything is pretty close between the two. But the way that the show moves is different, because I think that what they ended up doing was like, I think it's animated in Toon Boom instead of whatever they were using prior. So like it has a very flash animation sort of quality to it, and while it is not bad, it does kind of have like a feel where it's like, I think that if you were to ask me, like a fan, I would prefer what they had going on initially, because it feels truer to what the show was originally when it first started. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole, like, there's whole other conversations to be had. Like, I'm not really up on American net animation. Like, I've seen some of Bravest Warriors, but that's kind of it.
Oh,
and that's like a whole other scene.
And Sorrow also mentioned Being Puppycat, which I've seen a little of. That's a show that I like. okay, I only saw like a few of the earlier episodes, and I was like, this has an interesting sort of premise thing going on, and I wish it were longer and had more substance.
Being Puppy
Netflix
weird...
is bringing it back next year.
Oh, really?
Or like the year after that, something like that.
Okay, that's cool actually. I kind of had the same opinion as Shredney with the side dose of like, why does a new episode of this only come out once a year?
Yeah. And
yeah.
It's also like, also, I'm gonna be honest, I really like how graphly the female lead's voice is.
Your candy's gone. That's what happens.
She just has the best voice. It's really great.
What's the director's name? It's Natasha something?
Created by Natasha Allegri.
Natasha Allegri, right.
Yeah, who was
also behind Fiona and Cake from Adventure Time.
Yeah, she was one of the Adventure Time people. I was trying to remember her name.
Yeah, she's.
You guys
she's
remember
person.
that comic she did where somebody was complaining at her on Tumblr and she drew like a whole thing about an injured butt? It was pretty funny.
Oh my god.
Like, just the most needlessly high effort fuck off I've ever seen in my life.
She was also like one of the original like bubblegum Marceline shippers.
Yeah. That's
a whole issue.
Yeah, that gets into slightly like I like how, for the record, like I liked how Adventure Time ended. Hiring. Was Natasha a fan of the show first, or did she work on it first?
She worked on it.
Okay. But like something I know that other cartoons have done is they hire people like off of places. Like Tumblr.
In this case, that's
no. I was just mistaken, but
yeah.
And I always feel like we don't know. If this happens, we probably don't know about it. But I always feel like there must be some stuff going on behind the scenes there, because like, what do you? I don't mean to engage in stereotyping, but there is this idea of like a certain kind of Tumblr users being very opinionated about like shipping and things like that. If that kind of person gets hired on a production, what do they do if like the story goes in a direction that they don't want? Do you just like quit, or I don't know? That's one of those things where like, you know, there's more important stuff in the world, but God, surely that's happened.
But in this case, it was like she was drawing that art while working on the show, and was like one of the first people being like, "Yeah, this is something that the people on the staff have been talking about forever." Like, since the beginning of the damn show.
Yeah, that's one of those
that
things.
Pendleton Ward wanted to work in, but was like, they're never gonna let us do it.
Yeah, that's you know, it's one of those. That's the thing that I think is just like basically an objective positive change, is that American cartoons have gotten a lot more LGBT friendly over the years.
Like they thought they were never going to be able to do it, and then they were just like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
by the end.
I mean, like that was one of the good things about Adventure Time running for so long, is that by the time it ended, you know, full credit to Steven Universe, that kind of already broken that barrier down, so they were able to get that in like right under the wire, basically. Which honestly, like, I know people who approach that kind of thing very cynically and are like, "Oh, they should have done it earlier." But I'm like, there is no such thing as a perfect TV production, gang. Sorry,
not at all. And like, but I mean, it's also like
even like this is an anime thing, so it's immediately marginally less accessible to our viewer base. But even Utena, I have been learning a lot recently about things that occurred behind the scenes during the production of that show with various writing disagreements.
Oof.
Did you know that Bay Papas, which is the four people who made up the core creative staff,
4 or 5,
on that show, was lot of internal disagreement about how to handle the core relationship. Is the
That makes sense given if you know what the manga is like too.
Chiha Saito.
Yeah, Chiho Saito.
Chiho Saito was like, I don't think that the story works as well if it's a romantic relationship. And Ikuhara was like, well, I think it only works if it's a romantic relationship. Ikuhara's opinion eventually won out. Wow, that was a really lame way to die. Eventually won out, but it was a point of discussion for a long time.
It's also like the manga explores like a completely different thing. Which the interesting thing is that Ikuhara himself did that with his own show with Yurikuma Arashi. Was that he started it as a manga, then made the show, and the show went in a totally different direction, and then he ended it in a totally different vein with a totally different tone.
I actually think that that's like a very interesting thing that people should do more often, because I think people get way hung up on like canon too much.
Oh yeah, Fooly Cooly is apparently like that with Hajime Ueda's manga.
The original anime, the manga, the books, and the sequels are all wildly different from each other.
Oh yeah,
including both of the sequels from each other
to each other.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, if anyone's not aware, I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but like Hajime Ueda, the guy who did the Fooly Cooly manga, he occasionally does some like experimental animation work. He did an entire arc of Monogatari. Like they actually Shimbo in his role as like lead director, which is like a whole different thing from director, gave Hajime Ueda full reign to direct an entire arc of that series because it gets real weird. The Mayoi arc in Owari.
I don't think I'm that far. I should pick that.
Oh yeah, that one's
at some point. It's been like 3 or 4 years.
It's even giving the title is a spoiler.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
So I'm not gonna do that.
I will. It's on the eternal plan to watch. I'll get.
It's not even one I've seen yet. I know about this, and I'm already spoiled on that particular detail of the plot.
Also, to go back to something that Goku mentioned a while ago, she asked who directed Avatar, and I just realized I have no idea.
I can't remember their names, but it was two.
So
guys.
Created by Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I think the showrunner was Aaron Ehas.
Has Ehas done anything else?
Ehas did The Dragon Prince.
Oh, that's why people like that show. That makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know anything about The Dragon Prince. I just know that it was like fairly popular for a while. It was good,
I saw
right?
of it's
solid show.
I've heard the writing is really good and the direction itself is solid, but at the same time, the style of animation, of 3D animation that it goes for, personally, kind of puts me off.
Well, yeah, no. I was just talking about like the consensus on it because I've never seen it myself.
Yeah, like there are a fair number of people that quite liked it. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of things that are similar to Avatar,
how it's done.
Onyx Equinox starts in 3 weeks. You guys should watch that when it comes out.
What is it?
Series being directed by a mostly Latin American creative team. It is like heavily inspired by Avatar and also Aztec mythology.
That's neat.
It is like I am on schedule to get screeners for it to do recaps, providing that me saying that doesn't violate some kind of closure clause that I don't know I'm under. Anyway, but it looks really cool, and I hope we'll give it a chance.
So I was just thinking, What have I been thinking?
I wonder.
Yeah, like, so. I need to look at some of the seasonal charts because I understand that, while production is kind of like in a weird place right now.
Oh no, Shredney, you don't understand. Everything is airing this season. It's been an insanely strong season.
Neat.
To a sort of ridiculous degree.
I mean, part of it is, some of it, there are some questionable decisions being made in terms of Japanese, when them opening up certain things. But on the other hand, they've handled COVID way better than we have.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of it is that a Saltly Bouquet is airing this season. That was originally supposed to premiere in spring. I think the new Love Live was originally supposed to be a summer show. And that...
Oh yeah, you can also do stuff remotely more easily with certain animation.
By the way, the new Love Live series is fucking fantastic.
I've heard good things about Love Live for a long time.
If you have never seen an Idol series and you're at all interested in the idea, this is your onboard ramp.
Is this the one with the glasses rant?
No, that's not from an anime. That's a YouTuber did that. That's
just It's a
Fubuki from Hololive.
Oh.
It's just a meme. Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed as much. But it was funny. It was like I recall somebody using like a.
Don't you think we really need everybody to give everybody glasses?
I mean, it's just like it. But I mean, it was pretty good to just like put that next to a screenshot from.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I remember what you're. Yeah, that was Heinz just did that.
That was.
Those two things are not actually related.
I know, but Heinz, that was a good move. Heinz is good.
Uh oh.
Do you have a bomb?
I mean, yeah, but it's more
I know you can't bomb the ghost.
I just need to get down. I think I'm good. Okay. Really wish I could afford that glue, but I can't. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Anyway, yeah, like so yeah, like Love Live.
Yeah, like I mean, Gogo raises the fair point that the series' critical reception has gone from most people think it's like kind of a cut-rate Idolmaster to Sunshine was like pretty well received to everyone is singing Nijigasaki's praises, which is true. I will say I think that the visual style on the previous 2-3 seasons kind of put people off because like
it's shiny.
Like I don't care, but a lot of people don't like the fact that for the longest time Love Live had like a notably bad case of like what people call same face because they did the thing of like character personalities are distinguished not by their facial features but by their hairstyle, which is pretty normal for anime, but a lot of people whose main exposure to cartoons is Western think it's terrible. But anyway, like I don't know. Like, even people I've spoken to who have been fans of the series for years are like, yeah, this is the best it's ever been, by, like, a lot.
The earliest thing I remember about, like, Love Live was back when Jacob Chapman was still, like, doing videos semi-regularly, and he was like, this is the most wholesome thing, you should watch it.
Yeah, Love Live is...
which was years ago.
Yeah, it has had a strange Half-Life.
This was actually, I think, before the critical consensus came around on it, too.
Yeah, no, like Gogo is right. Love Live was not very well respected for a long time. A lot of people were of the opinion that Idolmaster was like.
But I'm just saying that it's funny because this is
which is a dumb way to think about it.
I just think it's funny because it's like somebody who works for ANN being like, you know, one of the earlier stands for it when nobody else would.
I mean, like, fundamentally, if you find the entire idea of an Idol series distasteful, you're still not going to like Ninja Kasami.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that if you are neutral on the concept, I haven't seen that many Idol shows, but I think that this is up there with the original Idolmaster as far as like good places to jump in.
That makes sense.
And I think very highly of the original Idolmaster. So
I've heard good things about the original Idolmaster.
Yeah, well, I guess technically it's not like the original because the original's the games, but the 2011 anime is really
first
good.
Anime.
Yeah.
Which
that's not true either because the first Idolmaster anime was Xenoglossia, which is a weird thing.
That doesn't count.
I mean, like, it is part of the franchise.
I mean, but like,
I'm really sad that this is unrelated. I'm really sad that Xenoglossia flopping as hard as it did convinced. I forget who owns Idolmaster all of a sudden. Convinced them that nobody was interested in them doing.
It's Namco Bandai.
It's a Namco series. You're right. Convinced them that nobody was interested in Idolmaster as a franchise beyond specifically the Idol stuff, because I actually think it would be really cool to have a franchise whose cast are on the whole they're interchangeable with regard to setting. You know what I mean? Because Xenoglossia, if you're not familiar, is a mecha series. But they're all the same characters from elsewhere in Idolmaster, just now they're in a giant robot show. I've never seen it. It's
wild.
It's apparently it's not awful, but it's apparently not that good either, and it's mostly just
mediocre.
Really weird. Yeah. Certainly, it's one of the weirder concepts for a show I've ever heard. So it's Macross. I have heard it called like a not very good Macross clone. Yeah.
So like cut rate Macross, bargain Macross.
I mean, now that said, I watched and enjoyed the first season of AKB 0048, which is also an idol show about giant robots. Well, they're not giant robots. They're like reasonably large robots, but it's about idols.
It's a mech series.
Yeah, idols defending the universe from anti-music terrorists in space. It's not as good as that premise makes it sound, but it's fun. Also, we stand a legend, R.I.P. Shiori.
I quickly have to use the bathroom. I shall be back.
Anyway, yeah, Trey, what are some of your favorite cartoons?
As previously mentioned, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends for one, Adventure Time and regular show, but y'all know that. Let's see, Pickle and Peanut, duh.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I really like? Cupcake and Dino General Services on Netflix, which is basically like the show that I would recommend to people if they would like probably be the type of person that would enjoy Pickle and Peanut but would never admit it. Because that was like a whole genre for I guess it
It must still be. Like,
name and name.
Yeah, like 2 character comedies.
Yeah.
I guess Regular Show was the catalyst for that, but
Yeah, Regular Show with Adventure Time being maybe the predecessor to it, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
what
you
an
got
odd little movement in
Apple and Onion, Pickle and Peanut,
Yeah.
Gumball, which technically counts because Darwin is his number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breadwinners, Sanjay and Craig, friggin' God, there's more.
Yeah, people trash on those shows, but like I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but I've seen some of them, and they all seem fine to me. Like
Sub of what?
we're talking about that. I don't know what
cartoon comedy where it's like focused on 2 friends, and the name of the show is usually Name and Name.
Yeah.
Like that's whole buddy comedy.
Yeah,
I guess that's what you would call it. Yeah, a buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Like Adventure Time being kind of the father of the genre, and then like Pickle and Peanut, Apple and Onion, Cupcake and Dino, other shows that I don't know, but Trey might.
Not to be and I guess this wouldn't be confused with like how more sitcom-y things are often like that.
No. Sorry, that reaction was because I dropped my gun.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for instance, Rick and Morty, etc.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a different thing.
Rick and Morty would be like the adult, fucked up variant of that.
Fucked up, bad, and evil version.
Controversial opinion. I actually do decently think that it's okay as well.
No, I didn't mean bad qualitatively. I meant like bad as well.
Yes.
No, I
yes.
know several people who think that Rick and Morty is not a masterpiece, but like it's got its moments.
Justin Roiland's other show is also actually pretty solid too. Solar Opposites, which is like essentially Rick and Morty 2, but the thing about it is that I appreciate that one has like a bit more of a I guess down to earth focus, which is ironic given that the premise is about aliens, but that one is a little bit more about the daily lives of its characters and them getting into weird situations like that.
That's
could
fair.
happen within its world rather than it being dimension hopping reality shifting weird shit the way that Rick and Morty is.
Can I hit you with an opinion, and you guys can tell me what you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whoops. Let me not die first. That's step 1. I think that one of the reasons, and I might be totally wrong about this. This is just a thought that I've had, essentially. I kind of feel like one of the reasons that Rick and Morty is as popular as it is that there's not really many other. Or actually, I can't think of any other than I guess maybe BoJack Horseman. Those adult sitcom cartoons that aren't just about a family in a town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fantastical element to it.
I mean,
yeah.
Or that are, just kind of. Well, I mean, there are, but most of them are
you're not gonna
really
find
bad.
Yeah, you're not gonna find a lot on a level of quality that's akin to what BoJack and Rick and Morty and
and also, I don't know. I think it's also partly. It's there are a bunch of factors, I think, but I do think that the fact that it is more fantastical, but also more. In terms of with BoJack, more overarching plot oriented and
yeah, well, yeah, BoJack's kind of a different thing. I don't know if I
it's
BoJack is sad. I know that.
It's really good and it's fucking soul crushing.
This is a fact about me that you can use to reassure yourself if you ever are laboring under the misapprehension that I am a cool person. I sometimes, when I can't sleep, read random TV tropes pages in their entirety.
Oh
and
my.
A few months ago, did that with BoJack Horseman.
Oh shit.
Now know like everything that happens in the series despite not having seen it.
Yeah.
I have only seen 2 seasons of it, and it is those 2 seasons. Okay, the first season is uneven. Second season, the first season is uneven. The second season is where it really starts going, and it's fucking great.
I got into it into the weirdest way possible, I think.
Huh, how so?
So, I actually watched the Christmas special, which has nothing to do with the rest of the show, first, and then my brother and I liked it, and we ended up watching the entirety of the first season afterward.
It is, especially the back half of the second season and the ending of the second season is, well, also just the ending of the first season actually is a fucking punch in the gut.
It's you know,
because it's
about time that American cartooning got its own Welcome to the NHK.
Yeah, it's like it is about someone who is a bad person who wants to be a good person, and
but does not have any idea how to do it.
And he learns slowly, but he falls back a lot, and you want to like him so badly. And then he fucks up so hard. And sometimes sometimes he doesn't fuck up. He actually does the right thing and still gets screwed, and that makes it, and then backslides because of it, and that makes it worse.
Yeah, I like the impression that I got, and admittedly, reading a TV trope page is a fucking terrible way to get an idea of a series, but the impression that I got is that it's essentially a character study. Like
it is.
Like of this guy. Like the funny animal thing is just like set dressing, essentially.
It's set dressing, and I mean, it's initially used for like absurdist commentary, a comedy and commentary, but it's like it's kind of the sugar that helps the horrible
it makes everything else seem like less much. Is the impression that I got.
Genuinely, I don't believe that I would be into the show at all if like I were just like stuck with the premise that it's it's about an animated. It's an animated version of like a fucked up like Robert Downey Jr. style sort of person getting their shit together.
Yeah, or if it was live action or something.
But like the
But what I was going to say is that like fundamentally it's about how like celebrity fucks with people, and also like how learning to be normal if you were deprived of that opportunity at an early-ish age is really hard.
Yeah. And it's like, and just
which I think is a good thing for a show to be about. Like,
yeah, and
you
also,
you don't get that very often.
And it's also like, there are people in the show who aren't like, like, despite the fact that BoJack is the protagonist, there are characters who he doesn't like, who are nonetheless, like, you kinda
want them to be successful compared to him.
Yeah, and, like, are actually ultimately good people. Like, Mr. Peanut Butter, the dog.
Yeah.
He is a genuinely good person. He's a dweeb and kind of clueless, but he's also not stupid. He's just kind of naive. And
hey guys,
what is this a crossover? Yeah, we did indeed see it.
What was that all about?
What happened?
I entered the level and immediately heard like a bell dong, and it gave me the Kali accepts your sacrifice message.
Huh.
Not sure what happened just then.
Okay.
Like,
sure.
My assumption is that
something died and fell onto the sacrificial panel,
or got knocked out and fell onto the altar. Yeah, one of the two. But she is pleased with you means that it dropped a gift. So like, I would like to find. Oh, I guess not. Okay, never mind. Still, how strange.
That is very odd. But
I can't believe
it's like
how strange to
it's like he's like, you've got this character who he's a doofus, but he's like one of the few genuinely good people in the show.
Yeah. It's
and those things are not correlated.
Yeah,
he just happens to be a doofus.
Yeah, no, it strikes me as one of those shows where people, and pardon me if this is a totally wrong assumption, because it might be just that I spend too much time on anime boards, where people are like, you need to watch this show so it can break you down. It'll tell you what's wrong with you. But actually, it's like the showrunners working through some shit, generally.
Yeah.
If people were like that about, like, Ava.
I think that's a valid reading of it.
Yeah, I think people are kind of projecting the fact that
purple character.
It's like
it's Princess Carolyn.
No, the person.
Like, because it's.
I misunderstood.
I feel like that's people projecting when really it's just a really strong character study.
Yeah.
And it'll make you cry. Yeah, which is unexpected for that kind of show.
Yeah, no, like that
I mean, Group
right.
Love did the ending theme song. You wouldn't expect something like that to be the type of thing that would be willing to hit you with the emotional just pain, but
just like the whole thing in the I think it's the last episode of the first season where him doing that whole thing where the life that he feels he could have led if he'd made different choices, and it's just like, oh god.
Yeah, this is a thing that I observe.
It hurts
in fan circles a lot, is people think that artists are talking to a specific kind of person, and sometimes they are, but the more common thing is that artists are either working through something themselves or they're making a more general
statement.
Yeah, like it's a like this specific example, like it's a character study series, and there's not that many people who are like failed actors, but there's like some specific part of that experience might resonate with you, and that's like the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that was dumb.
It's like, and it's like there's a certain universality to the realization that maybe you haven't been getting right with people where you should.
Yeah, it's like, those are things that everybody deals with, I feel, or at least most people. Everybody except the very lucky, I would say.
Yeah, and also the very narcissistic, because they don't notice.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, that's fair. But the impression that I've gotten of BoJack as a series is that it's like very thoughtful and such, and I think that it is interesting that was made, and what was popular actually is the more surprising part to me.
And
like
also,
people don't normally go for that kind of thing,
and
especially
also
not
like
when it's animated in America.
And also that led to Tuca and Birdie being made, which I've heard is really, really good, and unfortunately only lasted one season on Netflix because they kind of screwed it.
Adult Swim picked it up.
I was gonna say, didn't
they
Adult Swim
did?
pick it up? Yeah,
they did.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
I've seen only bits of it, and it is very cute.
I give the people at Adult Swim guff sometimes, but they've
sometimes they do good.
They've made some good decisions in the past. Yeah, I know a couple people. I don't know nearly as much about Tuca and Birdie, but I know a couple people who really, really like it.
It seems like a lot less harsh than BoJack, while still being like similarly very character focused.
Yeah, I've heard people compare it to Agretsuko, although I don't know if that's just because they both star funny animal people.
I think it might also be like the age of the characters and the situations they're in.
You know. Perhaps.
And well, you know, like basically
it is like not the same. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That seems like a reasonable descriptor.
Wow.
Man, I'm getting really tired.
Well, the show
what
ends
time
in
is
10
it?
minutes, so...
Oh my, it's
I actually realized like 5 minutes ago, like, oh, we're like almost done for the evening.
Yeah.
You know. It is what it is. I'm a little sad we didn't get the video yesterday, but like I said, my wrist is kind of killing me, so... I'm not too worried about it. I'm just... By the way,
we're fine. Next week.
I think most people here know this already, but the Magic Planet server is doing a Halloween party, I guess. We're all going to be in a voice call. A couple people, or at least like 1 or 2 people, like got costumes and are doing video. So
doing
film.
Yeah.
Doing that spooky shit.
Yeah, like I think we're mostly just gonna hang out and like maybe play Jackbox and possibly like somebody might stream like World of Horror or something. You know, nothing too.
Oh my god, that's the spooky shit.
I really like that game. I don't play it that often, so I don't think it's obvious, but I like that game. It is a good time.
I have heard very good things about it. But I mean, I have watched you stream it briefly, but then I sort of was like realizing, this feels like more a game you play than watch other people play.
It's weird, right? Because like the actual gameplay is just pretty basic, like RPG and choose your own adventure stuff. But
no, it's like it is interesting, but it's also like not something that like works so well with the whole watching playing dynamic.
Yeah, like there's a lot of text, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, like I can imagine like one of those really old school kind of playthroughs where a person's like just totally quiet and like moving very slowly,
or like text commentary like on a forum or something.
Yeah, or like somebody like just straight up going to the effort of like reading through things very deliberately.
Actually, can I share this with you? That is like a thing that I cannot stand when I watch Let's Plays.
I mean,
it's just for whatever reason it bothers me. Like I don't like the text read out to me.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. It's like, how dare you? I can read with my own eyes.
I don't have.
I can read with my wizard eyes.
Wizard eyes. That was a good episode.
Yeah, that was That's a relatively early Adventure Time episode, isn't it? Like when it like they.
It's like from the middle of the show, I think.
No, I mean when they first bring up the wizard eyes.
Yeah, no, I mean it only comes up a few times over the course of the series, but
yeah.
I believe the actual episode that they're from is like toward the earlier middle part of the show. I might be wrong about that.
No, like I think the very first mention is
Let's see. Wizard Eyes.
Second season, and then
first shown in Mortal Recoil, so the very end of season 1 / beginning of season 2.
Yeah, like around
Fair
then.
enough.
Yeah, like the very beginning is like, and then like, but we don't.
That's when the Lich shows up.
Yeah. Hey, I have a fun production trivia to share. Trey probably already knows this, but I don't know if you do, Shredney. Do you know who their first pick to voice the Lich was, but they couldn't get him?
Who?
Fucking, I fucking forgot his name. Hold on. Hold up.
I know that the guy who originally voiced the Lich was Ron Perlman.
No, it's not him. Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Yes, they wanted Tom Waits.
Oh my god, that would have slapped.
and I don't know how far that ever got, but that was like their first choice.
He seems like someone who would have gone for it, but probably was busy.
Yeah. Also, like I don't know if he really has any experience with voice acting.
Oh no, he has experience. Maybe not voice acting, but he has a lot of acting experience.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played in Heath Ledger in the last. You know the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus?
I've actually seen that movie. Yeah.
He plays the devil in that.
Does he?
Yep.
I don't think I knew. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is the one. It was the last one. It was a Terry Gilliam film that was the last film that Heath Ledger ever did. And because they hadn't gotten all of his, stuff together, instead of replacing him, they had him replaced by multiple actors. So the character changes
forms throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it was like
the Doctor.
I must be thinking of something else. Never mind.
But
seen that.
But yeah, he plays the devil in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. He's done some other stuff. He's done some voice work, I think.
Okay, well I didn't.
But yeah, he's
know
like,
that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, that was their first choice to voice the Lich.
That would have been so great.
Yeah, I mean the guy that they actually got, who his name is escaping me right now.
Ron Perlman.
Was it Ron Perlman for the whole show?
It was Ron Perlman.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Except for when he's Sweet Pea, but like.
Well, that doesn't count. Yeah.
That doesn't count.
But yeah, no, okay, yeah. Perlman does a really good job. And like with hindsight, I kind of can't imagine anybody else in the role. But it's like, still an interesting one.
But like those are, like honestly, Ron Perlman and Tom Waits are like the only two people I think could have pulled it off.
Ron Perlman's voice is very
distinctive, and so is Tom Waits, and they both have that growl.
Like I don't know how Tom Waits does that. Like.
It's partly straight up damage to his vocal cords.
Yeah.
And partly it's because he uses a lot of cartilage when he sings.
Dude, like, sounds like a Mongolian throat singer crossed with a chain smoker from the 20s.
Well, that's actually, that's how you get, like, grit in your voice, is you use the same cartilage as a Tuvan or Mongolian throat singer. It's like the same parts of your throat. like that.
Fun fact: while I was listening to The Prodigy, as I mentioned, there's a part of "Smack My Bitch Up" where it's like there's an altered like sample of like the singer doing I forget what the sample was, but it's a resung sample because they couldn't originally get the where it was from. But it's like a note that she sings for about 30 seconds in there, and it's digitally altered or whatever. But what I tried was singing the same note like down an octave, of course, just to fit my range, because like of course I can't hit that. But like for I did pretty good because like it's actually 30 seconds long, and I got about 20 of that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sort of like yes.
The only notable thing I know about that song is that the vocal sample is from an Ultramagnetic MC's track. That is in fact Cool Keith that you hear on the record.
Huh.
Yep. Who also another song on the record, I forget which one. I was just looking at this today, what the hell? The Fat of the Land. Diesel Power.
Go-Go is your last pick in the album club. That fucking Critical Beatdown. It's a good album, but I don't know.
I think she is referring to the Fat of the Land.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
but
I thought
was gonna
sample. That's my bad.
But I was going to say that like, in terms of like really long notes, this is kind of a weird one to think of. But okay, hey. Have either of you ever listened to the first Neutral Milk Hotel album?
I haven't even listened to the one people like, so no.
Not the first one. I've listened to the famous one.
In an aeroplane over the sea, is that what it's called?
In the aeroplane over the sea.
But not on Avery Hill. Is that
on every island?
It was Sheila Chandra's Weaving My Ancestors' Voices, which is where the singing in Smack My Bitch Up comes from.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Word.
Was like on Avery Island. There's one of the best known songs is Garden Head, Leave Me Alone. The transition between the halves, which are Garden Head and Leave Me Alone, contains a sequence where Jeff Mangum holds a single note for like 40 seconds.
Dang.
Huh.
It's like the bit where he goes, "The garden head knows my name." And he just holds that over the transition.
But why does he do that?
To measure his abilities, of course.
And then it switches, from the leave me alone. You know, like it's a fucking great song.
Shredney, can I ask you a question?
But,
what is your ranking of Neutral Milk Hotel albums?
Well, there's only two.
Well, there are only two albums.
Yeah.
And technically that's the first of the proper albums. It is not the first cassette. There are
Have you listened to those?
Yes. Well, the ones that are actually available to the public. And I can rank them.
Okay. Sure.
So, like...
Rank Neutral Milk Hotel's discography. I'm putting you... I am attempting to summon hipsters from the past to shame you if your rankings are incorrect.
In terms of actual LPs, I personally prefer On Avery Island to In the Airplane Over the Sea.
I fucking knew it!
But...
I've never even heard either of those records, and I'm like, I bet she likes the first one better.
But I completely understand why people like.
I know, it's just
Like, I get
it. It's a very opinion.
And it is. They're both fantastic for slightly different reasons, but like, yeah, the first one contained. Well, it's partly actually. I listened to the first one first, which is kind of a weird thing. But like it, yeah, it's like there are some songs in there which are like absolutely seared into my brain. In terms of the cassette releases, the unquestionable A++ one is Hype City Soundtrack, which is arguably really their first studio album because it consisted of the sessions.
Hot take: the first Nirvana album is the best. That is
the one that has paper cuts on it. Yeah.
Again, I'm not surprised that you apparently share this opinion.
Okay, I don't think it is their best album. I'm a basic bitch. I'll say that In Utero is actually really good.
I don't think I've ever listened to a full Nirvana record.
And I admit that, like,
Nevermind
is a really good record, but Bleach is actually a really good record. But like the song that will, but like in terms of like songs, like I have to say, Paper Cuts is a really fucking good song and really upsetting, especially when you know what it's about. But like, yeah, Nevermind, Nevermind, like, the singles are actually legitimately great, but like, a lot of the deeper cuts on that are pretty fun too, or fun for a certain value of that word. Like, I mean, Something in the Way is bleak.
With the lights down. Well, there I go. I had a friend in high school who was a huge Nirvana fan. In fact, he is the Cody that I mentioned earlier. And he also preferred Bleach to their later two records.
Yeah, it's like, it is their rawest in some, like, okay, it's not as noisy as In Utero, but it is rawer and wilder in some respects. Like, it's less polished, and the gnarlier moments are more sludgy and punky. Like, also, it just has some like goofy moments that you don't really get later on, like Love Buzz, which is a cover.
As we all
like
know,
a surf band.
The only two good rock bands are Husker Du and The Clash, because they're the only bands who I've listened to most of their discography in that genre, other than like the Beatles.
Husker Du are quite good.
I've sampled Husker Du a bunch of times. I don't think anybody's ever noticed.
Also, like, I am modestly surprised that you are a fan of, like, one of the... I mean, they wouldn't normally be called this anymore, but, like, one of the original post-hardcore bands.
I mostly really like Zen Arcade, but there's some stuff from some of their other records.
Zen Arcade has some, like, song... There's at least one song that's only, like, 2 minutes long and is, like, fucking thrash metal speed.
You know, it's a banger.
I mean, it's a really good album. Also, it ends with a 15-minute jam.
Zen Arcade is my really going through it music.
Yes.
If I listen to that album, I'm not having a great time.
You do know that it's like a concept album about burnout.
Total Zen Arcade.
I'm in pain
Fuck,
now.
that's funny.
Oh no! Thank you. No, thank you.
But also, fuck you.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah. Husker Du. But
or fuck you, I love it. I can't tell.
Um, but yeah,
But
I
yeah,
like
Husker
Husker Du.
Du are, yeah,
I
they're
think
good.
me liking the Clash is not that surprising.
Yeah, yeah. Like I mean, I was I am both more and less surprised with Husker Du because like there's stuff that is like less aggro is very very you.
Yeah, Husker Du is a band that my friend Cody introduced me to, among a bunch of other bands who I don't really listen
Yeah,
to that
they're
much anymore.
also Bob Mould, one of the first figures in American punk to be openly gay.
I didn't know that actually. I don't know much about them like as people. I just know the music.
And also like they had an interesting like musical trajectory because they were like they started out as like being really into both like hardcore and post-punk, and their first like single or EP is like a straight up like Public Image Limited worship,
Mm.
thing. Like, but it's funny because like their sets at the time were like had like really post-punky songs in them like that were like really angular and wonky, but they also had like full-on hardcore ragers, so it was like not indicative of what they sounded like. So their next like EP was like a fucking hardcore album. It was like, what the huh? And it was like, and then
I
stuff. They started releasing stuff like Zen Arcade that's like
yeah.
between the two.
I Yeah, I guess Husker Du was one of those things that. I mean, like you know, like I got into Mass of the Fermenting Dregs recently, and they're like,
Oh, they're great.
they're not. It's not the same kind of music, but like the timbral space is similar,
Yeah,
and that's what I tend to go on with music because
they're like
I'm like mostly tone deaf, so
they're like pretty but noisy.
yeah, I guess that's
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
like the quintessential shoegazy
by
Japanese math rock
by the
band.
way, World Is Yours, like phenomenal EP. Probably maybe one of my favorite things that I've discovered this year musically.
Yeah, like Mass the Fermenting Dregs are really fucking good.
After Any Speed is a really
Also,
amazing song.
also they're a fucking three-piece band, and their bassist plays chords, and you think it's a guitar, and it's like, shit. I love it.
They got back together like a couple years ago. They released a new album. I listened to it.
Neat.
I listened to it.
Yes.
It's like
Good.
really good. There's
I
it's mostly very similar to their older stuff, but there's also a weird like trip hop intermission like 2/3 of the way through the album, and I don't know why.
That's kind of tonally in keeping, honestly.
There's
Like
like
they're that kind of band.
yeah,
that do that.
that's we're just talking at this point, but that's fine. We missed 2 shows in a row, so it's okay if we go over.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah,
It's been a while. Since
that's been my big. I got really into Japanese music this year because I guess I wasn't enough of a huge nerd. I've talked about before, I really like Zudomayo. They're like probably the most I've ever cared about a band, and I'm 26, so I don't summon that passion easily anymore. They are really great. It's a pseudonymous front woman who goes by Akane, and then a rotating cast of members who have included like apparently this is secondhand information like a bunch of pretty well-known J-rock people, some more like underground people, and also the Open Reel Collective, who are guys who hit old reel-to-reel tapes with magnets and make it make weird noises.
That is really cool.
They don't show up on Sudomile's albums that often, but if you watch any of their concerts, of which they've only done a couple, they're always there, and they make these weird like theremin noises by running bar magnets over it. Like I don't.
Yeah. That reminds me of how like and I think you would like these guys. Mission of Burma.
I've
I've
heard the name.
They had a guy named, in their original incarnation, it was Martin Swope. Later, it was Bob Weston, formerly of Shellac, or currently of Shellac. But in their original incarnation, it was a dude named Martin Swope. Was their he would.
It's the Blair Witch.
Yeah, no, hold up. You can keep talking, Sydney. I'm just doing some.
So what he would do is he would stand behind their mixing board when they would play live, and this wasn't evidenced in their first EP, but they decided to incorporate it into their album Verses. And like he would take the while recording tapes of them, would play things back and mess with them and run things through effects for them, and he would do it live so they wouldn't know necessarily what it would sound like, and nobody would be able to see him just looking at the stage, so there'd be these weird ghost sounds that would just come out of the speakers.
That's pretty cool.
And it would if their gig went badly, it would just be total chaos. But if they were really fucking on, then it would be this psychedelic barrage of a really, really tight, intense post-punk band playing this really melodic but fierce music. And just totally bizarre psychedelic washes of sound.
Zudomayo are a lot more, I guess, polished, or if you wanted to be slightly derogatory, you could say poppy than that. But some of the methodology is a bit similar. They also have this one guy who, I don't know how it works, but he's got this drum machine that is hooked up to what looked to me like a bunch of repurposed bowling alley touchscreens. So he smacks them with these sticks with these soft things on the. It's a interesting setup. And Akane is, as far as I know, the band's only consistent member, and the person who writes all their stuff also she's a incredibly talented young woman. She's 20, which blows my mind. You guys should all go listen to Study Me if you have not heard it. It's a very good song.
I have, but I should listen to it again because it's very good.
Yes, and then you should listen to the entire rest of their discography, which is only 2 albums.
Yes.
Get in now before they release 30 more.
It's I wonder what it was like with people getting in on the ground floor on Shinsei Kamate-chan when they first started popping up, because
I will Zudomayo are a lot less weird than that. Zudomayo chart. I was surprised to learn this.
Shinsei Kamate-chan have charted.
Really?
Yeah, they one of their songs wound up being the ending theme for the 3rd season of Attack on Titan.
Oh. Huh. But
the thing is though with Shinsei Kamada-chan with their later work is that the weirdest stuff is generally in the lyrics.
I see.
You have to pay attention. And then you get really upset because it's oh shit, these lyrics.
Zudomayo's songs, from what I understand from people who speak Japanese, are very circularly written. They're you listen to the lyrics and you're not entirely sure what it's about. You have to listen to it many times to kind of extract. Usually there's more of a broad thematic meaning than a specific one, although they have a couple more specific songs. Akane is apparently a really good songwriter too. I wish I spoke the language so I could appreciate it. But there's a lot of so it's Azumanga. I don't understand. But yeah, they're really good. But they popped Omicron, which is
Yeah.
Japan's
Oricon.
yeah, sorry.
Oricon.
Japan's like pickier version of Billboard that only
Mm-hmm.
counts physical album sales, and then they came in like third place in the actual Billboard of Japan charts,
Yeah,
which
like
is really fucking impressive.
and like Oricon is like like they are a very they're also more like in terms of physical sales and rankings and stuff are generally, so far as I'm aware, like a lot more accurate than Billboard.
Yeah, they're picky. Like
Like they are.
they, somebody was telling me on the either on the Discord server or on the subreddit like Oricon, like you have to like your record store has to actually like send them an internal copy of the register receipts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So and then they like feed it through a computer and
it's like a
insane.
whole thing, and
Yeah.
like to get certified by Oricon is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, because it
Um.
means that not only do people like your music, they like it enough to leave the house.
Oh yeah. And like also like regarding Shinsei Kamata-chan. Admittedly, I'm getting back to one of my favorite bands because I'm,
How
obnoxious.
dare you? Let me talk. It's my show.
But I was just gonna say, actually, with the whole, kind of like oblique lyric thing, is one of their biggest songs, "Front Memory," is the literal translation of the title, which actually was pretty big for them and wound up in the live action film adaptation of the manga After the Rain.
Huh.
And it got an actual music video that was not made by the band and all this nonsense. They are a lot bigger than you would expect given how fucking weird a band they are. That song has very oblique lyrics, but funnily enough, I kind of like when I read, like the translation of it and like sort of explanatory notes about like certain references and like wordplay in it. I realized that it was kind of about being like, it was kind of about like gender euphoria, like as a dysphoric or non-binary person, because Noko is openly non-binary. And it's like about that. And it's like, oh, huh. And it's like, just having a day where you feel comfortable in your own skin like that. And it's like, huh, that's a really interesting thing to write a really popular song about.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's like I mean, and also it's like nice to hear that from a band who like one of their first like really notable songs, in terms of like it was demoed as one of their earliest was an angel would suffocate if it fell to earth, where the primary line in the song that's repeated a bazillion times is I want to die, just over and over again.
This has gotten to cheery subjects, as it often does.
But I mean, it's like, but then there's
no,
songs
yeah,
like
I
that,
know.
and
Yeah,
there's
you like the meta narrative, like happy.
and
Ending.
also
Yeah,
like there's also the song, another early one is Like Myself, where it's talking about, like I don't have like sort of like I don't clearly fit into a gender binary, and I'm happy with that. I'm okay with not being that.
Shredney, I am too drunk for this. We're sorry, Go-Go. Yeah, that's like in a broader sense, like Japanese pop and rock music has been one of my things that I've gotten into this year, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm probably gonna renew my Spotify subscription so I could listen to those things again. Which
That sounds like a plan.
I, something has to be pretty good to make me subscribe to anything because I hate subscription services.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's valid. That is valid.
Yorushika is another good group. They're not a band. They're a guy that used to be a Vocaloid producer named N Ben. I'm getting his name. Point is, a guy that used to be a Vocaloid producer and a singer, a female singer. And they make very, very, very sad music.
Oh. That's
or also songs like Cappuccino, which are about being in a cafe.
that's a mood. Yeah.
The two genders.
To be fair, most of the like Japanese music that I listen to, by and large, is like really weird rock music or noise.
We're coming at it from different angles, obviously.
Yeah,
but like what I've learned is that a lot of the most interesting people active in Japanese pop right now are like former Vocaloid producers who want to expand their palette a little bit.
That's the case with vocabulary.
Because that's the case with Yorushika. I think that's also the case with the Binary, who are a band with a name that I find vaguely amusing for some reason. And
also,
Yosoboe, I think, also as well. Is that?
Oh, and what's his face? Who was the guy who did the ending theme for Bakemonogatari, which is a fantastic song.
Which ending theme for Bakemonogatari?
The first ending theme for Bakemonogatari.
Supercell.
Yes,
that's a Supercell song.
Yeah,
I've heard of Supercell.
One of the earliest ones.
Is Supercell a guy or is it several people? I don't remember.
It was a guy, and originally there was the female vocalist who he worked with, who he started working with her because she was the first person who he ever met who could pull off crazy lines that only a Vocaloid could otherwise do.
I listened to an old Vocaloid track for the first time like about a week ago. Disappearance of Hatsune Miku, which is by a producer named Cosmo. And it is widely, for one thing, it's a very sad, like, weird Denpa song about the program's thoughts as it's being uninstalled from a computer. So there's something for you to think about. Also noted for being one of the first Vocaloid songs that was explicitly made to be unperformable by humans. The verses are insanely fast. You can go look it up. Supercell's the guy that made World Is Mine. Okay, well there we go. It's Disappearance. That was like apparently one of the intents behind that song. And then about a year or two ago, a English YouTube singer whose name is escaping, Rochier, managed to actually cover it. And that is very impressive.
It's like
one of the more emotional songs I'm familiar with that sounds like somebody beating a Nokia to death.
And also, but like I think that's kind of like very much in. It kind of reminds me of that video Adam Neely did ages ago talking about the fastest, the most difficult music, and then about like how technical virtuosity tends to increase as we're able to conceptualize things better and better. And then people are able to play things more and more efficiently technically that are harder for people from previous generations to comprehend, technically speaking.
I've heard that theory before. Yeah.
Like Paganini's, what are they called? Caprices, which are insane to this day, but people can play them. Whereas back then, nobody could play them because nobody but Paganini was doing the shit.
I mean, digital composition is another thing because you can, like, given enough processing power and knowledge on your end, you can make
the impossible,
like anything if you know what you're doing.
It's like,
which is like the appeal of that whole, like, people call it like sound design porn genre of electronic music, like Igloo Ghost and Arca and
but even like that. But even before that, like with he's sort of a breakcore producer, Richard Devine. Like, the guy is a professional sound designer. If you listen to his stuff, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it fills the stereo field with all kinds of weird sounds, doing all kinds of weird things. And it's like, just, whoa.
Why not? If you have the skill and the desire, why not?
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably end the stream. We've gone half an hour over time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Yep. See you next week.
See you.